Hello everybody, welcome back to our latest live stream. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon so far. Obviously there is a lot of severe weather ongoing. It has been ongoing since obviously yesterday, and we still have some severe storms going on across the Ohio Valley and the southeast. This will all push into the mid-Atlantic region later this afternoon into the evening hours, so I'm going to give you the latest breakdown and everything that you know ahead of the storms over the next several hours. Just before we get too far into it, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another live stream or weather forecast. Also, just a quick disclaimer, I am sick. You can probably hear it. I am very congested. I will be live for as long as possible, but no guarantees on a length of this live stream. I'm going to be trying to be live those for as long as possible to keep you guys safe. So let's begin though with the tornado warning back down over in Georgia right now, back near Calhoun, as well as Ranger and Fairmont. There's actually a tornado warning ongoing back down into northwest Georgia. You're going to want to make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. If you are north and northwest of Atlanta, Georgia, this is near Interstate 75, just east of Calhoun right now. Again, we have a tornado warning with some rotation located just to the east of Interstate 75 at this time. This is currently a live look at the, actually, let's change this over to there. There we go. So, tornado warning. Current rotation is located back over here near Adairsville, if I'm saying the name right. That's your rotation, and this is moving quickly off to the east-northeast. It's about to cross over Interstate 75 in just a moment. So again, if you're in this area, make sure to seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. And if you don't have an interior room that's away from windows, one thing that you should do is either get into a bathroom that has a tub. That's always a good idea, or get under a stairwell, a closet, any of that sort of stuff. Those are your best places to go if you don't have a basement or a storm shelter. That's the assumption being made there. So again, make sure that you're getting to your safe place though immediately if you're in this tornado warning. Areas in Ranger and Fairmont, Georgia will be impacted within the next 15 minutes. And I'm actually going to go and put a time guide here on this storm so we can get an idea of where this is going. Let's go and put that on here. So currently moving off to the northeast. It actually says around 60 miles per hour. I think it's closer to 50. We're going to go and put 50 on this storm, and we're going to put it on this entire little cluster of storms here, give you an idea of when this timing will be for your location. So here's the timing on the left side of your screen, all the locations on the left side for this tornado warning, and a little bit of a difference for the north and southern side of the storms as well. So again, Kingston in about 5 minutes, Fairmont in about 10 minutes from now. That's included in the tornado warning, by the way. White in 10 minutes, Jasper in just under half an hour, Cleveland in just over an hour, Clarksville 86 minutes, Clayton about 100 minutes or so from now, and as well as Mountain City just about 100 minutes, and Highlands is going to be about 2 hours from now. That is estimated timing, again, give or take 10 minutes in all those time frames. But if you're in Fairmont, you want to make sure you get to your safe place immediately. Areas like Ranger as well in Georgia should be getting to their safe places immediately as well. And also, just before I went on air, there is a new tornado watch that was issued for a pretty large area, by the way. This is going to include areas in western North Carolina, northwest South Carolina, even parts of Georgia, back into southwestern Virginia is included in a brand new tornado watch. This goes until 8 o'clock Eastern time, and this will be primarily for the threat of damaging winds up to 75 miles per hour. There may be some sporadic hail up to quarter size. There's also going to be a tornado threat. A few tornadoes will be possible embedded in this line of storms, which a strong tornado is still not out of the question with this area of storms. Let's hop a little bit further off to the north. This is another area that I have a bit of a concern about this afternoon, is back near Louisville, and this is kind of in like the southern Indiana area as well as into Kentucky. This area I have a bit of a concern about. This is actually an inner line of showers and storms that's developed along with this low pressure system, and what's really happening here is that we have so much wind shear associated with this area that we might see a few of these storms spin up with a tornado threat. Not just that, we are still watching a pretty numerous damaging wind threat here heading off to the northeast. Areas like Columbus back over to the north of Seymour, as well as going into areas near Ohio, will be impacted by this later today, but this is an area to watch for pretty closely. We have the initial line of storms that's out in front. That's our main line of storms that we're watching right now, and then our inner line of storms, more of a cluster, but it is a bit more of a line of storms. It's a small line. This inner area of storms that we're watching with this low pressure system is also something to be watching for. We just had a tornado warning in this area not too long ago as well, so there is a bit higher of a tornado threat with this, along with the threat for some damaging winds up to 70 to maybe even 80 miles per hour would not be out of the question with this. Let's take a look at the velocities here. I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of rotation left with this. There was a little bit more rotation earlier today, and there was, again, a tornado warning not too long ago. It looks like near Salem. This is currently back in southern Indiana near Salem. We do have a little bit of a couple pockets here of at least damaging winds. Not really a whole lot of rotation there near Salem, but it might be something to watch for closely if you're in southern Indiana. Again, a little bit of a couple of little kinks there that we're watching near 56, again, just west of Salem. So be mindful of that. We actually have several of them. You can see all these little bright green spots that kind of appear here. There's not a whole lot of velocities going away from the radar, so that's kind of helping at least to limit the tornado threat for right now. We don't have a whole lot of winds going to the north, which would kind of limit the shear here in that sort of environment for the time being. But if there is enough rotation that gets into these supercells, we very well may see a tornado actually pop up at any time with this little cluster of storms, again, back over in parts of southern portions of Indiana. All right, let's hop back down to the tornado warning in Georgia, and we're also actually, real quick, let's go over to Knoxville. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this is currently for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, along with the threat for quarter-sized hail. Damaging wind threat is quickly approaching Knoxville, Tennessee. If you're in this area, make sure that you are getting to your safe place away from windows. Let's go and take a look at some of these velocity values that we're seeing on here. We're seeing right now around 60 miles per hour, about 1,000 feet up into the atmosphere. So nothing too concerning for the time being in terms of a couple of these little pockets. We may have more of a damaging wind threat, though, just out in front of that line of storm. So Knoxville might actually be seeing the damaging winds right now. So if you're in Knoxville, make sure again that you're getting to your safe place immediately. Damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour will be possible. We are actually seeing a lot of wind damage as well that's already been reported across areas near Knoxville as well. So again, if you're in this area, make sure you get to your safe place away from windows. Even though it's not a tornado warning, you should still treat it as if it were to be one, because again, it is producing some pretty hefty damaging winds. It's kind of on the weak side of a EF0 type tornado. Back over to northwest Georgia. This is the current look at the storm that is about to go into Fairmont and Ranger. We're going to go to the other radar site, and let's go back over to the storm relative velocities here. And it does seem like the rotation's weakened quite a bit here. This is where the rotation was located, just to the west of Ranger and Fairmont, but I'm not seeing nearly as much rotation anymore with this cell, which is good news. We're not seeing nearly as much as once was. If we go back a few minutes here, you might see it a little bit better. There was a little bit more rotation with this cell. It was primarily back here near Deersville, and there was a little bit more rotation there at one point, but it does seem like that has fizzled out for the most part. There's still a little bit there, but not a whole lot. Again, that is currently just east of Interstate 75 now. Ranger and Fairmont, those should still stay in their safe place right now, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Again, this is Gordon County, Georgia, that we're at right now. Hail threat as well is no longer quarter-sized. It was for a moment there. We're back down to just basically just small hail, so maybe some marble-sized hail or something like that. Wind damage report that we're having out of Chatsworth in Georgia, by the way, is trees down on City View Road. So just a little heads up there. Damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour is going to be possible across this entire area over the next little while. So again, make sure that you're aware of that. Also, more damage reports back near Dalton, just to the west of Interstate 75. So we're seeing a lot of damage reports. All these blue boxes that you're seeing on your screen are indicating damage reports just within the last 2 hours. There have been a ton back near Nashville and back even into areas in Kentucky. It's been a very impressive event, to say the least. And we are going to see more of those, obviously. Numerous to widespread damaging winds between 55 to 75 miles per hour will be possible over the next few hours. So I'll be keeping you posted with the latest and all those details as they do come. Let me just refresh the radar here so it doesn't keep showing that message. All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome on into the stream. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon so far. Again, I am sick, just a friendly reminder, so I will be... actually, I'm not feeling too bad yet, but I will be talking a little bit less than I usually do. But I'll be answering questions and stuff like that. Hope everybody's doing well. Again, I was not live earlier. I just took medication like 30 minutes ago. I am feeling better than I was a little bit ago, so I'm still very congested, though. That's 20 minutes north of you? Oh, really, Joes? Are you in this area? Back near the storm? Here's the latest scan. Are you back over in Georgia? This tornado warning's not far. If you go a little bit further down to the south, there's a nice little break in the action here. There is damaging winds still associated with this, but there wouldn't be much of any tornado threat with this area of storms a bit further down to the south, for at least right now. We can take a glance at the velocities here. And this is what we're looking at right now. I'm not seeing anything too concerning other than just damaging winds right now. There's a couple of small pockets that are trying to rotate, but it's not really that impressive. The main area of rotation right now would be with this storm. And again, the velocities are a bit higher here as well, which would indicate stronger winds just to the west of Fairmount and Ranger. So right here is where we have a little bit of the stronger wind gusts with this storm. And here are your winds again going towards the radar. This is away from the radar, so that's your rotation right there. Down here near Adairsville, there is a little bit of rotation there as well. Might be something to watch, a little kink trying to develop, but the winds going towards the radar are fairly weak, so I wouldn't expect a tornado warning yet, but might be something else to watch there as well. Back near Adairsville, Interstate 75 area, just to the north right now of White, there's another little pocket of rotation, so we'll have to watch out for that pretty closely. And again, for those that are just tuning in, there was a tornado watch issued for a pretty large area of the United States from Georgia all the way back through Virginia until 8 o'clock tonight. So this severe weather threat is not done at 5 o'clock like all these other tornado watches are. It is done for those areas, but the severe weather threat will go into areas in Georgia, eastern Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Main threat with these storms tonight will definitely be damaging winds, but there may be a couple of tornadoes. A tornado could even be strong tonight, so we'll have to watch out for that threat as well. More trees are down, by the way, over near Rome in Georgia. Just heads up there. We have a lot of tree reports. Obviously, a lot of trees are down. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at right now out there. There's been a ton of trees down across this region. But yeah, again, this is our tornado warning for another 3 minutes. We'll see if this one gets extended. I don't think it will, but we'll see. There's still some broad rotation associated with that storm and a little bit of broad rotation just now to the south of Fairmont. We have a couple of different pockets here. This would be the main one right here for this tornado warning. A little bit more just to the east of Interstate 75 as well. So 2 pockets that we're watching right now. How's it going, Fame? Look back. Here's the latest radar scan, by the way. So again, rotation's starting to develop. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised. Might get a tornado warning on this storm right here. Just to the south of Ranger and Fairmont. Yeah, there's a little bit of rotation starting to develop there. We'll have to watch that closely. This is the live radar view. There is a bit of an inflow actually going into the storm, so might be something to watch here just to the south of Fairmont. That is, again, this is all north of Atlanta, Georgia right now with these tornado, or the tornado warning that we're looking at. Again, this is currently north of Atlanta, Georgia, so just keep that in mind. Is Lexington, Kentucky free of tornado risk? It's pretty low at this point. Let's go back up here to the north. It's pretty low. The only threat that I would expect back over near Lexington, for example, this is the current look at the storms, and they're pretty much moving through right now. It's a very low tornado threat. There could be a low tornado threat, though, embedded in this little area of storms. This is our inner layer of storms in this low pressure system. This is our outer layer. The outer layer is typically, it's very common. We sometimes get these little inner layers, though, especially during the springtime, and what we're looking at here is the potential for still a tornado threat and damaging wind threat. So there's 2 different areas of storms. Actually, the more severe ones right now are this inner layer right now near Louisville and back through Bloomington in Indiana. So there is still a low chance of a tornado, but I would say the threat is definitely lower at this point. It should remain low back up that direction. And overall, the tornado threat today will be low. I mean, it's not overly high. If we go over to the severe weather threat for the rest of the day, the Storm Prediction Center just issued the most recent outlook, and the enhanced risk is only really now in Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and as well as northern Georgia. Along with that, here's your tornado threat. It is pretty low at this point. It's only at a 5% probability in comparison to the 10% probability that we had earlier today. So the main areas of a tornado threat at this point will primarily be in that brown shaded area. Anywhere in this green shaded region has a low chance. It's not 0, but it's pretty close to 0. I would definitely expect a bit more of a tornado threat for those from southern Indiana back through Georgia. That's kind of the region that I'm watching for a bit more closely. Here's your wind threat as well. And the main area for damaging winds is in that enhanced risk of severe weather. I'll pull up the enhanced risk again here in just a second. And then this is your hail threat. Not really much of any hail threat today. Quarter-sized hail is basically the maximum that we're going to see. There's just not really any sort of... The lapse rates are very low, and not just that. Linear lines of storms and hail just don't mix that well. So we're not really looking at much of a hail threat. Here's your enhanced risk, though, of severe weather for the rest of today. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. For those, though, again, in eastern Tennessee, back through western North Carolina, northwestern South Carolina, and northern Georgia. Those are the areas included in the enhanced risk. We do have a brand new tornado warning that was just issued here in northern Georgia. This will include Jasper as well as Nelson, Talking Rock, I didn't know that was a town name, Ranger, Fairmont, as well as areas near the Salicoa Valley. Again, this is north of Atlanta, Georgia. This is going to include 2 different pockets of rotation. with this one. We were just mentioning this a second ago. There are 2 pockets of rotation. We have one near Fairmount and we have another one near Ranger. So if you're in any of these areas, again, make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Again, Jasper will be next in track of this storm over the next several minutes. This will also impact areas back near LJ, and this will eventually go towards Dawson. So again, in northern Georgia, just for perspective, we're a good hour or so north of Atlanta, and we are watching, again, 2 pockets of rotation with this little area of storms. Again, it's associated with the line of storms. We're having a little bit of inflow going into the storms near Fairmont right now. So 2 pockets of rotation. Again, seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. Let's go back over to the velocities. I'll outline them again. Here are your 2 little pockets of rotation, one near Ranger and one near Fairmont right now. And we're going to stay on the storm relative velocities. There you go. So that's what we're looking at right now in these 2 little areas in Georgia. Counties included do include Bartow, Cherokee, hopefully I'm saying the name right, Dawson, Gilmer, Gordon, and Pickens County. There are a total of 6 counties actually included in this tornado warning. Most of them are kind of like little quadrants of them, but those are your counties that are included in this tornado warning in northern Georgia right now. Just real quickly check Twitter. I'm going to see if there's any reports on this storm right now. This includes, by the way, a population of 55,000. Talking Rock, by the way, is right here. I did not know that was a town name. Talking Rock, though, is right about here. Talking Rock, you're in the track of this storm as well. So if you're in Talking Rock, Jasper, Tate, Nelson, LJ, Oakman, Ranger, or Fairmount, Georgia, all those areas need to be in your safe place immediately. There are 2 pockets of rotation with this storm. It's not just one. So be mindful of that there. And now we have a pretty large severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued, it was just issued. This is going to include anywhere now from about Fairmount back through Blue Ridge and McKaysville in Georgia. So if you're in these areas, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour will be possible. So seek shelter if you're in those areas. Again, we're going to primarily talk about these tornado warnings for now. I am looking to see if we have any reports on these storms. There will be any snow in Illinois, unless you're in eastern Illinois. That'd be the only area. The low pressure system, it's taken crazy turns, I'll tell you. I mean, we were talking about this winter storm the last few days and on the video forecast, and it has changed directions a ton. The winter storm was originally supposed to go into like Indiana, Ohio, and as well as Illinois. And then it moved into like Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and into northern Michigan. And now, right now, it's back into southern Michigan, northern Illinois, or not really northern Illinois, it's more like eastern Illinois and northern Indiana. It's taken a lot of crazy turns over the last few days. But this low pressure system, it's not been unpredictable, but it has been difficult to forecast. I'll say that because there's just so many different variables that went into it. And the big thing was what was going to happen to it once it crossed over the 4 corner states in the Rocky Mountains. And that was a big kind of talking point there. Where would it go from there? That was the big question mark that we had. And we finally kind of got now a direction on this low pressure system, at least since about yesterday morning. That's kind of when we knew where it would go. But things really do drastically change because low pressure systems going over mountainous regions, they sometimes change directions really substantially. But there could be even some snow back up into New England for tonight into tomorrow. There are winter storm warnings up there. So pretty crazy stuff there. There are not 2 tornadoes on the ground, but there are 2 pockets of rotation that we're watching right now. One near Ranger and one near Fairmount right now. So 2 different pockets of rotation located north of Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Spooky, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. If you've not already, by the way, make sure to like the stream. Helps get this out to more people. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe down below. I'll be answering some questions, by the way, in between radar scans. This is the most recent radar scan. Again, the main pocket of rotation that we're still monitoring here is Fairmount. It is still broad. Both of these areas, this one is much more broad than this area near Fairmount, but definitely broader rotation now just north of Atlanta, Georgia. So not nearly as concerning, but again, a tornado could drop here at any time if you're near Fairmount or Ranger. So again, make sure you're in shelter. Talking Rock and Jasper north of Ball Ground will be in the track of this storm over the next several minutes. This is now east of Interstate 75 in Georgia, north of Atlanta. And again, this is now actually southeast of Dalton and southeast of Calhoun. This is the live radar currently across northern Georgia. We'll kind of zoom out just a little bit here. Again, there's your tornado warning right now. All the towns and cities are on the left side of your screen. A brand new tornado watch was just issued, and this is going to include, or maybe not brand new, let's see. No, this is brand new. We have a brand new tornado watch that was just issued. It has not come in on my end yet. No, there we go. So here's your new tornado watch. This is going to include areas near Cincinnati, going to be southern portions of Ohio, eastern parts of Kentucky, back into western West Virginia. Pikeville is also included, and back into parts of North Carolina. Brand new tornado watch until 7 o'clock tonight. Again, this is for parts of Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, and West Virginia. Those are the areas included in this brand new tornado watch. Again, this is going to go until 7 o'clock tonight. Main threat will be damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, with a couple of tornadoes being possible in this area. So again, make sure that you're prepared tonight for a possibility for a tornado or two. Storms are starting to arrive into that tornado watched area as well. We have one line of storms right now entering in. We have that secondary line of storms going to be entering into Louisville right now, and it's going to go closer to Covington and Cincinnati in just a little while. So again, brand new tornado watch issued back up into areas in, again, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, as well as West Virginia and Virginia. All right, let's talk about the tornado warning again. Let's see what the latest radar scan is showing us here. And we still have some radar, or we still have some rotation near Fairmount. It's the main area that we're watching. Here's the current live velocities here. This is again indicating what our rotation is with the supercell storm near Fairmount, Ranger, and Talking Rock. And right now, closer to Fairmount is when we still have some rotation. It's not strong. It's still in the broad side of things, but again, it could strengthen at any time as this storm does continue to move off to the east. Jasper, Nelson, and Talking Rock again in the track of the storm over the next several minutes. The other rotation that we were talking about earlier has weakened, so it's not nearly as much of a concern on the northern side of the storm. This rotation near Fairmount is definitely a bit more concerning in parts again of Georgia. That's also potentially gonna be rain wrapped, so don't try to go look outside for this tornado warning or tornado or whatnot. Definitely not worth it. We're watching 5 live streams. I don't even know how that's possible. How's it going, Tamara? Welcome back. Again, I am sick, for those that are wondering, so you can hear my congestion. It's been a rocky last 24 hours. We were live yesterday for 5 hours covering the tornado warnings in North Texas, and it was crazy, by the way. If you're not following me on Facebook on North Texas Weather Center, it's been wild. I'll tell you that. I've been posting a ton of different photos and videos, a lot of them just being trampolines that have gone flying around. I'll show you a few of those photos here in a second. I'll pull them up. Yeah, it's been wild. Let's see. We have a bunch of them. This was one of them that we were sent in. Well, we have, again, this is the tornado warning, by the way, in Georgia. This was one of the trampolines that was sent in. This is a roof, by the way. So yeah, this is from Stephanie Coden, and we've had a lot of different photos of trampolines, but that's just one of them. We've had trampolines in the roadways. We've had trampolines in pools, believe it or not. This is one in the pool. We've literally had a trampoline inside of somebody's pool. This is not their trampoline, by the way. This is somebody else's. I'm not even kidding. I've been submitted over 200 different trampoline photos in the past about 12 hours on Facebook. It has been unbelievable. This is another one too. This is in a tree. Again, there were trampolines, I will tell you, everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. That's from Karis' story. So yeah, it's been a absolutely wild 24 hours in North Texas, I'll tell you that. No problem, Stable. Appreciate you tuning in. Have there been any tornadoes today? I have no clue. I am not gonna lie, I have been resting for the most part today. Let me check though. I'm guessing we've had a few. I saw a couple of observed tags earlier on tornado warnings, so I'm guessing we've at least had a few. Let me check that out though. I'll check out the reports. By the way, rotation's starting to increase near Talking Rock. If you're near Talking Rock and Jasper, you need to get to your safe place immediately. Again, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. We've at least had one tornado today. That's about it. I think we've had more though than that. I've seen a couple of different observed tornado warnings. So we've at least had, I think, 3 or 4 tornadoes, but there may have been more than that. Again, I've not been looking all day. This is like the first hour that I've actually been looking at stuff. So I've been literally resting all day. I've been sick. What a weird way to get free trampolines. If you look at my direct messages on Facebook, I will tell you, I literally have so many different, just different photos and videos of trampolines. This was another one. This was a few days ago, but still, it's kind of notable. This was in Lubbock. So a trampoline inside of a power pole. Yeah. Just a heads up, by the way, since I'm kind of going off topic, but currently on this tornado warning, again, north of Atlanta, Georgia, near Talking Rock and Jasper. This warning, again, goes for another 20 minutes. It has been condensed, so Talking Rock is still included. Jasper is still included, as well as, that's it, actually. Those are the only 2 areas included. Those are still pretty populated areas, but Talking Rock and Jasper are the only 2 areas now included in this tornado warning. In the polygon here, just to the north of Atlanta by about an hour or so, east of Interstate 75. Again, rotation is located just now to the east of Fairmont. It is approaching Jasper, and it'll eventually be approaching areas near Talking Rock within the next few minutes. So, again, if you're in this area, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. The pressure, by the way, in Louisville is right now down under 980 millibars. The lowest pressure ever recorded in the Louisville area. Look at this. This is the pressure graph over the last, I don't know how many hours this is. This looks like 48 hours. Pressure is now down to under 980 in Louisville. That is like category 1 hurricane type stuff, which is pretty crazy. How's it going, Megan? I'm feeling a little bit better, but it's mainly because I just took medication. We'll see how long I last. How's it going, Sailor? Welcome back. Again, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below. Helps get this out to more people. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Give me 1 second. All right. I'll have to do that a few times. Can I show Tennessee? Yeah, I'll zoom out real quick. This is the current look right now across the entire region. So Tennessee, let's actually hop up there real quick. Knoxville is currently probably getting hit by the storms. Actually, no, they already have. We looked at that a few minutes, or about 15 minutes ago. This area of storms is moving quite quick, at about 60 miles per hour. Holy cow. So near Knoxville right now, the storms have just rolled through. So if you're in Knoxville, storms are going to continue over the next 20 to 30 minutes before the severe weather and the storms really wind down. A bit further off to the east near Morristown, Newport, Searville, as well as Greenville. These areas will all be in the track of these storms within the next hour. We've had a lot of reports of damage. Actually, a report of a roof blown off in Maryville just recently. So yeah, there's been some serious damage. Again, 70 mile per hour damaging winds is no joke, and we just had that yesterday in North Texas. Literally last night, there was damaging winds between 60 to 85 miles per hour. The highest wind gust in North Texas was 87 miles per hour. So it was pretty wild last night. Multiple trees down as well over near Sweetwater in Monroe. So we've had a lot of tree reports down as well, and that's been one of the biggest reports so far today. I mean, look at all these blue boxes near Dalton, Georgia, and just west of Calhoun. There's been a ton of different damage reports. These are all damage reports, by the way. All of these blue boxes that are absolutely everywhere, which is absolutely wild. But yeah, it's been a very busy day so far for sure. This is the latest radar scan on the storm near Jasper. Let's go back to the storm relative velocities. Again, we still have some rotation here. It is not the strongest I've ever seen, but there is still some strong rotation. It's kind of the moderate to strong stage, just near Talking Rock right now. So again, if you're in this area, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, in an interior room of your home or building. Again, that is currently where the rotation is located with this supercell thunderstorm. We'll be keeping a very close eye on this over the next several minutes. Oops, how do you do that? How's it going, Cynthia? Welcome back. It has been it was busy yesterday. I'll tell you what, I mean, yesterday I was literally, I was working for about 10 to 12 hours yesterday just on North Texas weather. And then today, I mean, I haven't really done a whole lot today since I've been sick, so I've been just resting for the most part. But I was still busy this morning. I was posting a bunch of stuff on Facebook. A bunch of trampolines. I'll tell you that. There's been a ton of trampolines. No problem, Dylan. Real quickly, I'm going to check Twitter, see if we have any other reports coming in here. Again, just for those that are tuning in, we do have in Louisville, we just had a record set for pressure at 977 millibars. Which is the all-time lowest pressure ever recorded in Louisville, Kentucky. So that is a new news there. All right, nothing else for this right now. Again, this is currently where the rotation's located near talking point. Let's actually pull up the correlation coefficient. This gives us an idea if there's any debris being lofted up into the atmosphere if there were to be a tornado. And with all these red colors that you're seeing here, it would indicate that we're not seeing any debris. That's just purely rain for the most part. Typically, when we get some of those darker blues and as well as the green colors kind of shown in here, that is when there's a tornado. But I am not seeing anything that would prove that there's a tornado right now. But again, that could change at any time. The rotation has strengthened a little bit in the last few minutes. We'll see if it does intensify at all over the next 5 minutes or so. Next radar scan is about to come in just a moment, so we'll look at that here in a second. All right. Apparently one of my TikTok videos is blowing up. I just got a notification on my Gmail. How's it going, Ben? Welcome back. I'll check that out, Euro. Check out what Breed's looking at here. All right, let's see. Here's the latest radar scan, by the way.
Yeah, that might be. Can you
do that? Current radar scan right now, not really showing as much rotation. Let's actually go a little bit higher up into the atmosphere here. I'm curious to see. Yeah, rotation's kind of been, it's been very spotty with the storm. And right now with the velocities, what we're seeing is a pretty big difference between where the brighter red color is and as well as the bright or even just the regular green color. And what we're really looking at here is the wind direction and gives us an idea if there's rotation here. So again, the red colors are going away from the radar. Our radar's positioned south here of Talking Rock. So winds here going away from the radar. Strongest winds are right here. These are your winds going towards the radar. Very minimal, and really the strongest area of these winds is located in this area, and that's not very strong for velocities here. So very spaced apart, and this is not really rotating at this point. It is really weakened in the latest scan. Doesn't mean that this will not hit the ground or there won't be a tornado. It just means for the time being that the rotation is weakened quite substantially in the latest scan. But yeah, these are two big differences in the gradient here in terms of the velocities. It's a pretty large difference for sure. And so there's definitely weaker rotation closer to the surface. Even if we go from here, stronger area of rotations back up here. Here's your other strong area of rotation. Wind direction, again, very split apart regardless, and they would have to be more connected closer to here. So definitely weaker on the latest scan. We'll see if anything does kind of transpire over the next few minutes, but I would have to go ahead and say that this is definitely weaker than what we just saw a moment ago. Again, that's near Jasper. That area of storms is becoming a little bit more unfavorable for that tornado threat, it looks like, for right now. We do have some new severe thunderstorm warnings back over into Kentucky. These are primarily for damaging winds around 70 miles per hour. So those in Irvine, as well as down through London in eastern Kentucky. These are for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and a little bit further off to the north and west of that, north of Lexington, Kentucky, these storms are also producing damaging winds around 70 miles per hour. We did have actually a confirmed report in Lexington of a 70 mile per hour damaging wind gust. That was at the airport there in Lexington. So that's what we've seen so far there. A bunch of flash flood warnings, by the way, back over in southern Indiana and as well as western Kentucky, which is definitely notable for sure. Flooding threat is definitely going to exist, especially with a pressure that high. Again, 977 millibars. That is a very low pressure for a low pressure mass over the central United States, or really anywhere in the United States. That is pretty much category 1, category 2 type hurricane pressure. But again, we are a bit higher in latitude and as well as the longitude, so it's not nearly as strong in terms of the wind speeds and stuff like that. It's also not tropical, so we're not looking at actual 90, 100, 110 mile per hour winds. We're really talking maybe 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts in a pretty widespread area. We have a new tornado warning that was just issued. Let's hop over to that. There's a brand new tornado warning for those back over into, this is going to include areas in Tennessee and as well as back over into North Carolina. It has not popped up on the map yet, but it should here in a second. Let's kind of figure out where that's at. It's probably gonna be somewhere over here. Yeah, here's your rotation. I'm guessing it's this. We don't have a tornado warning on this yet. Let me just confirm here. It's back near Murphy and Hayesville. Not sure why the warning has not popped up quite yet. Let's make sure it's... Pretty sure it's that area, though. Let me just double check on Twitter, too. We have a brand new tornado warning. It's not popping up on here, though, yet. This could be for Andrews, Topton. So it's going to be a bit further south, I think, actually. It's going to be down in here with these storms, I think. Make sure. Andrews, and Murphy. All right, yeah, we're in this area. So a new tornado warning was just issued on this pair of storms back down near Andrews. It has not appeared on my map yet, but our rotation is going to be located back in here. That is kind of the area that we're watching. Let me just double check here. I need to make sure, because for whatever reason it's not popping up on here. It's near Murphy. Gotta love when the software doesn't work here. Yeah, all right, so we're in the right area. This is our rotation right now. This is near Murphy, and this is currently a tornado-warned storm that was just issued. Again, make sure to seek shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're included in this warning. Again, there is a tornado warning that was issued here near Murphy. Again, rotation starting to strengthen there. I don't know if we have a better radar site. I think that's the best one up to the north. Yeah. So again, tornado warning was issued here. So make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. If you are in the areas of Marble and Andrews, Murphy is not included in this. This is going to include Andrews as well as through 129. Those areas are currently included in this brand new tornado warning. This is your really high winds, by the way. This is probably 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This as well is probably near 70 miles per hour in terms of damaging wind gusts. So high winds are definitely coming out of these storms. Rotation is going to be located just off to the north of Murphy. Again, moving off quickly to the northeast or east-northeast at about 70 miles per hour is what it's being estimated at. I'd probably go ahead and say it's probably closer to 60 miles per hour. So this is a quick moving storm. Again, this is where your rotation is located. It's going to be in this area here. And it's moving again towards Andrews. Robbinsville will likely be in the track of this storm, but you're not included in the tornado warning as of right now. So you're currently not needed to be in shelter, but you should stay away from windows because damaging winds up to 70 is still pretty dangerous. The most recent tornado warning, again, here in North Carolina. I'm actually going to try to see. I'm going to restart the software here. We're going to go back into it. I'm not sure why, but the warning was not popping up on the screen. I want to make sure we have that on the screen. No, it's still not popping up on the screen. All right, well, our tornado warning again is here. I'll draw it out for you, and I'll actually show you a photo of it as well. We're going to go and pull it up. I do apologize. This actually never happened before. I've never had a tornado warning not pop up. Heads up, by the way, the tornado warning in Georgia no longer includes Jasper or Talking Rock. It is just to the north and east of those locations. This is the tornado warning for reference. Again, for those in North Carolina, I will show this for a few seconds for those that are needing to know where you are on this map. Topton, Andrews, Marble, and Hissaway are included. I probably butchered that name, but those are the areas included. This is where we're at on the map right now. Rotation currently located back in here, going towards Andrews. Robbinsville may be in the track of this as well here pretty shortly. But for right now, for those in Andrews and Topton, make sure you get to your safe place immediately. Away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Again, this is a tornado warned storm right now, moving quickly off to the east-northeast. How's it going, Scott? Welcome back. How's it going, Neo? I am sick. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I am sick. I'm still alive, though. I'm trying to bear through it. I took medication. I'm not feeling nearly as congested right now, so I should be able to go here for a little bit. I'll at least be live for probably an hour or two. Maybe longer. See how long the severe weather goes. Again, tornado warning is ongoing here north of Murphy. That's where we're at right now. I'm going to actually go into my settings here and see if I can also try to fix this tornado warning issue. Because there are a few different ways I can have tornado warnings on. We're going to try this. I'm going to refresh it one more time and hope it kind of works here. Nope, it did not work. All right. So this tornado warning just does not exist on our map. But again, there is a tornado warning right now ongoing for those near Andrews in North Carolina. Rotation, again, is located over here. That is going to be west of Andrews. Let me go back over here and put the storm relative velocities on. And the latest radar scan, oh, there we go. So yeah, again, rotation's located in here. It's still broad, but again, a tornado could spin up at any time. We're also kind of far away from the radar site, so it might be kind of difficult to see regardless. But if you are in Andrews, make sure to seek shelter, as well as Topton. Topton's also included in this tornado warning right now in North Carolina. Again, this is an ongoing tornado warning in western North Carolina. That's where our rotation's located right now. Moving quickly off to the east-northeast at approximately 60 miles per hour. These are quick-moving storms. So yeah, the radar pretty much just said no to me. It does not want to show them the tornado warning for whatever reason. There's a severe thunderstorm warning that was popped up, though, here after the tornado warning got issued, so. You mean, Neo, do you mean by the warnings aren't being picked up? Is that what you're talking about? That's interesting, though. I've never seen a warning just not pop up on the map before. That's interesting. I've seen it with severe thunderstorm warnings before, but it usually doesn't last more than like 30 seconds. Cincinnati is under a tornado watch, so you still have to watch out for severe weather, Derek. There is a chance for severe weather there. It's not high, it's still on the lower end, but there is a chance for severe weather. So if you are in Cincinnati, you are under a tornado watch, I believe until 7 o'clock. That's another 3 hours or so from now. Also, a little heads up for those, I haven't really talked about this in a few minutes. There is a tornado warning here. We'll keep a close eye on it. There is another tornado warning back north of Atlanta, Georgia, near Jasper. Rotation has weakened quite substantially. I would assume that this tornado warning will not continue after this. It's likely just going to be damaging wind threat for the most part. There might be, again, a brief embedded tornado in this line, but for right now, the rotation has really weakened quite substantially. On that cell. We have a couple of other areas back near like Taylorsville, for example, that is trying to rotate, but it's still struggling. And even a couple of little more kinks here back over in western Georgia that we're watching. Those could also rotate at some point down the road. We'll watch those closely. But for right now, the main tornado warning is going to be back down here in North Carolina. Quick update as well back over in Kentucky. We haven't been here in a while. There's still a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. This is the current look at the live radar feed. So there is some severe weather ongoing here in northern parts of Kentucky, back through even in eastern Kentucky. We are seeing just east and north of Lexington, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour are ongoing. So east of Interstate 75. Again, this is your outer band of storms, your severe weather. This is your outer band. This is your inner band with the line of storms that is also kind of associated with that low pressure system just off to the west. That is actually producing record-breaking low pressure. We've seen low pressure measured in Lexington of 977 millibars. That is a record of all time for Lexington. So quite remarkable stuff there. We are seeing a record-breaking low pressure system moving through the United States right now in terms of pressure. The pressure has gotten very low for sure. All right, let's go back over to the storm near Andrews. We're going to stay on this one. Again, this is a tornado-warned storm. I know the tornado warning is not popping up on the map, but that is where your rotation is located. It's just west of Andrews right now. The tornado warning has also just been canceled for those in Dawson, Gilmer, and Pickens County in Georgia. So we are right now at one tornado warning, and that's the one right now back over here in North Carolina near Andrews. Again, make sure you get to your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible right now. Yeah, they actually, no, Lexington isn't really out of the clear yet for the tornado watch. Because of this, I'll show you. So let's just go back to the, we'll go to this radar for now. There is another area of storms here. That's the inner area of storms right now with this low pressure system that's associated right now near Madison in basically, again, northern Kentucky and southeastern Indiana, east of Louisville. This area still has a chance for a tornado threat. It's not high, but it's kind of on the lower end. It's more of a damaging wind threat, I'd say. But the tornado watch won't likely be expiring there in Lexington until 5 o'clock, because that area of storms could still bring a threat, a low threat for a tornado threat. But it's more of a damaging wind threat for sure out of that area. So yeah, definitely not out of the clear quite yet, but it is probably going to be more of a damaging wind threat. All right, let's go back down to this severe thunderstorm warning. And we'll go back over to here near Andrews. Again, this is where our rotation is currently located. Has increased a little bit here near Andrews. Again, this is riding right along 129 in western North Carolina, south of Robbinsville. Again, if you're in this area, make sure you get to your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, in an interior room of your home or building if you're included, again, in this tornado warning. Definitely a dangerous storm. Heading off to the east-northeast, this is a tornado-warned cell. I know the tornado warning is not popping up on the map, but that is obviously right now tornado-warned. If you're just tuning in, by the way, make sure that the like button down below helps get this out to more people, and it's free to do. Only 41 likes from 200. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Do you think the severe weather will be more confined to the Gulf Coast rather than diminish completely in mid-March? Do you mean like, I'm not sure what exactly you mean by that. More confined to the Gulf. Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that. The tornado warning popped up only about 10 minutes late. Holy cow. That was a really late yeah, see, this tornado warning was issued 13 minutes ago and it just popped up. That was the longest I think I've ever seen a tornado warning not in the map. But again, this is for those in western North Carolina right now. That's where the tornado warning is. Typically with severe weather in March, in mid-March particularly. It's usually in the southern plains and in parts of the lower Mississippi Valley. Yeah, that's kind of usually what happens. The severe weather usually shifts from Dixie Valley back into the southern plains, so that gradual shift, usually the low pressure systems take a bit more of a westerly path, more of like a northerly path, so it's further west of the Dixie Valley or Dixie Alley. So usually, in most cases, like the severe weather threat's a little bit higher in those areas during mid-March. It starts to go down though during like late March and April as well. So yeah, the threat gradually shifts further off to the west in March. Thank you, Gary, for subscribing. How's it going, Bugsy? I have 2 different water balls, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Again, if you're in western North Carolina, there's rotation ongoing here near Andrews. Make sure to seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. Another little pocket of rotation as well trying to develop back west of Bryson City. Might be something to watch for here over the next several minutes. But again, near Bryson City, there's a little bit of rotation there as well. Also near Morristown, this is back near Jefferson City. This severe thunderstorm warning is producing damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour right now. There's also a tornado possible tag on this, so there is a threat for maybe a brief or weak embedded tornado in this line of storm. So if you're in this area, make sure again that you're staying away from windows. There's a possibility for a tornado with this storm as this continues to move towards Bulls Gap, White Pine, Newport, and Morristown, excuse me. That's also a threat that we're watching for there. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Again, a little bit of rotation trying to develop. That's not tornado warned, but it might get tornado warned at some point if that increases. Ongoing rotation near Andrews is right here. Again, this is in that tornado warning. If there is a new one issued, Robbinsville will probably be included. Bryson City might also get included in that. If not, maybe just to your south and west. So be mindful of that. This is, again, your current rotation is located here a couple of miles to the northwest of Andrews. So make sure that you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible. This storm is, again, moving off to the east-northeast at about 70 miles per hour, again, rapidly. So I'll be right back in 1 second. All right, we're back. Reed is near there. I think Reed is in Georgia, isn't he? Not somebody just said he was in Georgia. Is he in North Carolina? Might have gone further north. I don't know. Let me check. Yeah, he's in Georgia. I know, he's actually in Tennessee. Never mind. His title says Atlanta, or... Oh, wait, never mind. His title says 4 states. In Strawberry Plains, Tennessee. I have no clue where that is. Looks very wet, though, there. Yeah, the main rotation right now is located where my arrow is. So again, near Andrews, we have another little pocket of rotation that's trying to develop back west of Bryson City. More of a damaging wind threat right now. You can see all the brighter reds. So it's definitely a pocket of damaging winds approaching Bryson City in North Carolina. This is again where your rotation is located, moving again off to the east-northeast towards Bryson City. It is probably going to be visible if there's any storm chasers out there, if there were to be a tornado. So a little heads up there. Yeah, Louisville is getting a second round right now. How's it going, Virginia? This is resting. I don't know what you're talking about. It's actually not really resting. We're gonna make it through. Don't worry, we'll make it through. We'll make it through at least a few hours. Yeah, I'm still pretty congested right now. I took medicine, so I'm not feeling nearly as bad as earlier. I wouldn't be live if I didn't feel like completely up to it. We're bearing through it though. We're gonna bear through it. I always get sick before like something big like this. Just fantastic. How's it going, Christy? Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky's actually seen some interesting severe weather so far. There's been one round of severe weather that is right now moving into areas near, it's getting close to the Ohio and Kentucky border now. But damaging winds up to 70 will be possible. But these storms here on the very northern side of this line are starting to weaken. The other threat, though, will be this secondary line of storms back over near Louisville right now. This is the inner line of storms that is associated with the low pressure system. And so, yeah, we're watching an outer band and an inner band of storms, almost like a hurricane, but obviously this isn't a hurricane. It's kind of that similar setup, though. Usually we have those inner bands and outer bands. So we have an inner band and an outer band of storms. Pretty rare, by the way, for this stuff to happen. But it does happen a little bit more often during spring, especially with these stronger low pressure systems. This one is pretty strong, to say the least. The pressure is was down to 977 millibars in Lexington. So yeah, it was definitely pretty strong there. Look at this, by the way. Back up further north of the tornado warning. This is near Gatlinburg. About to cross over into Tennessee. Look at this. High winds right here. Let's actually take a little probe to this. Let's see what the winds are. Estimated around 80 miles per hour. So there's a chance. Again, this is slightly off the ground, so about 500 to 1,000 feet into the atmosphere, but there's definitely some strong winds here, upwards of 80 miles per hour north of Bryson City. We are seeing some high wind speeds right now out there. Again, there's a pretty decent pocket there of high winds approaching the border of North Carolina and as well as Tennessee. Also, there was a 60 mile per hour wind gust a little earlier, 67 mile per hour wind gust not too long ago. We were starting to see damage reports in Georgia, primarily near the Atlanta metro. We'll be keeping a close eye on that area. Damaging winds right now up to 60. We'll be approaching Atlanta over the next little while. This is the current live radar feed near Cartersville and Canton. And let's go to the actual live radar. So again, line of storms is approaching. Damaging winds between 50 to, or really, I should say gusty winds and damaging winds between 45 to 70 miles per hour will be possible across this entire area. That extends from eastern Alabama all the way back through northern Georgia. So that's the area that we're watching for pretty closely right now. Let's go back to this radar site in Morristown. Morristown just got hit by these severe storms. Radar site has not been impacted by the severe storms. It is still ongoing, so that's good. The radar site has not lost power or anything like that, or has not been damaged significantly. We do have a radar site still ongoing here. But again, pocket of high winds back up here in North Carolina. This tornado warning is still ongoing near Andrews. Let's actually zoom in on Andrews here. Rotation's becoming a bit stronger here near Andrews in North Carolina. Again, make sure that you're in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Approaching quickly, again, moving east-northeast. It's right now riding along 129, and it's going towards 74 over the next several minutes. So make sure you get to your safe place immediately. This tornado warning is in Cherokee County in North Carolina, where we're at right now. This warning goes for another 8 minutes. So again, Andrews is the main location, just south of Robbinsville. We'll keep a close eye on this. Rotation has intensified just a little bit in the last few minutes. Something to watch for closely. How's it going, Homegrown? You're waiting for the winter storm? It's not too far away. There actually might be some decent snow up there, too. I was thinking about making a video forecast this morning on it, but I'm so congested. I don't even know how I'm doing a live stream, I'll be honest. I've been pretty sick here for the last 24 hours. It wasn't as bad yesterday. I was live for 5 hours, but yeah, I've gotten much more congested today. But I just took medicine, so I should be good here for a few hours. Yeah, so for those in Michigan, there'll be a good 6 to 10 inches potentially in southern and eastern parts of Michigan. So yeah, again, a pretty good amount of snow coming to those areas. That was originally supposed to go into Indiana and Ohio, and even Kentucky at one point. And then it was supposed to go into Wisconsin and northern Illinois and as well as northern Michigan. And then the winter storm shifted back into southern Michigan, northern Illinois, and as well as like very far northwestern Ohio. It has really changed a ton over the last 48 hours. And the main reason, because that low pressure system that we're watching, it begun back near Washington State. Actually, I'll draw the map here for you real quick, because we have a break in the radar for a second. The low pressure system started all the way back over here, moved through the Rocky Mountains as well as into the Four Corner states. The big question, though, was where was this going to go? It could have gone this direction. It could have gone this direction. There was multiple directions it could have gone. And the big reason why is because the mountainous regions can impact low pressure systems and their direction. And so in this case, it has taken a bit more of a northerly direction, but sort of kind of in between those two lines I just drew. Mainly, again, because of the mountainous region. It can kind of play a bit of a factor in where a low pressure system does go. In this case, it definitely played a bit of a factor. All right, 6 minutes until this tornado warning expires. Again, this is where your rotation is located, north of Andrews. It is about to move towards Bryson City and Robbinsville in the next few minutes. If you're in Robbinsville, you should be fine from the tornado warned storm. It's more of a damaging wind threat for you. You got some damaging winds right behind you up to 70 miles per hour. This rotation will be moving, though, towards Bryson City over the next little while. So that's what we're watching for right now. Snow is chasing me. Yeah, Michigan is not going to have fun. If you don't want snow, Michigan does not probably... Well, I know a lot of people in Michigan that just do not want more snow this winter. And we're in March, but it still happens during this time of the year. There's actually another shot of winter coming, by the way, next week. I'll have a forecast on that for sure tomorrow. There is another shot, though, of winter coming. Winter is not over yet. And that's actually probably going to be the title of the video. Winter is not over quite yet. Illinois is getting slammed with rain, lightning, snow, ice. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in Illinois. Illinois is like the every type of precipitation state. Let's actually zoom out here. This is the live look here across the entire region. Illinois is dealing with snow, freezing rain, and thunder. I mean, it's all happening at once, and it's quite remarkable. I mean, we're seeing every type of precipitation here in Illinois right now, and even then, we had wind gusts as high as 70 miles per hour here not too long ago from a non-thunderstorm wind gust, by the way. So it has been very windy. Again, this low pressure system is around 900 and I think 977 millibars was like the lowest in Louisville. It's been probably right around 700 or so. This is a very strong low pressure system. It is a very intense one, but luckily it's moving fast, so the snowfall totals will not be that significant, or at least as significant as they could be. And the severe weather as well will be pretty quick moving, but that's increasing the damaging wind threat quite a bit here across the entire basically mid-Atlantic region back through the southeast and as well as the Ohio Valley. They've seen some pretty significant severe weather already. Basically what we're looking at right now. By the way, severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for Bryson City for 18 more minutes. That is damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Again, I would not rule out a spot or two upwards of 70 miles per hour. We have a little pocket of higher winds kind of on the Tennessee and North Carolina border that might be closer to 70 to 80 miles per hour. It's a little bit off the surface, just a reminder, but we are still talking probably close to 70 miles per hour near the surface with that little pocket of damaging winds. So still some damaging winds obviously coming through these areas. Could possibly knock out some power. Along with that, it could even cause a little bit of some damage to plants and stuff like that. Let me check out the power outage map as well real quick. We haven't looked at that here in a few minutes. I'm gonna go back to the live radar here for a moment. Take a look at the power outages. Tennessee right now has 285,000 without power. Kentucky is at 151,000 without power. North Carolina is just beginning at 17,000. Alabama is 127 without power. Georgia, 53,000 without power. Indiana, 40,000 without power. And Illinois, 24,000 without power right now. That basically is a grand total of, I have to do the math. That's probably about 600,000 to 700,000 people right now without power across the Ohio Valley, through the eastern half of the United States and the southeast. So there is definitely some significant power outages, without a doubt, across these areas. Obviously, will continue as these storms do produce those winds between 50 to 75 miles per hour over the next few hours before this all winds down, probably after sunset tonight. So it'll be busy for the next few hours. Everything does begin to wind down, though, a little bit later tonight. So good news there. I'm not Fryer. I'm still live. Live for a little bit. How's it going, Ethan? Welcome back. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, make sure to hit the like button down below. Also, make sure to subscribe if you've done already. You're getting pretty close to 34,000 subscribers, I believe. Make sure to subscribe if you've not already. Yeah, so we're currently looking at, again, tornado warning is about to be expiring. We're actually going to go and go back to the tornado possible tag here. We're going to go to the warnings. We're going to take off the tornado warning. It's about to expire. I wouldn't be surprised if they issued a new one, but I'm pretty sure they're going to let that one expire. Damaging winds will continue, though, here for the next little while across the southeast as well as through the mid-Atlantic region. But yeah, for right now, again, this area of storms mainly going to be producing damaging winds for the next little while. We're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia until another tornado warning or something like that gets issued. I'll put on a 30-minute loop here for a second. And this is the storms right now approaching Atlanta. We'll stay in northern Georgia for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. If you're just tuning in, again, hit the like button and subscribe. Also, if you have any photos or videos, feel free to send those in. You can send those in by email. My email is linked in the description below. I'll actually be, let's go and do this for a few minutes. While we have no tornado warnings, I do want to show you guys some of the photos that I was sent yesterday of the severe storms in North Texas. And these are probably ones that you've not yet seen. So let's kind of go through a few of those. And a lot of these are going to be, believe it or not, trampolines. Just kind of starting here with Stephanie Coden in the DFW area. This was a trampoline that landed on a roof. And again, all these photos that you're seeing are on our Facebook page on North Texas Weather Center. That's just one of them. It's been, again, pretty wild. This is another trampoline in the middle of the road. Again, not supposed to be there. And also, by the way, the trampoline that was on that roof, that was not theirs. Just kind of for a heads up there. That was not their trampoline. And a lot of these trampolines are not people's like the people that take these pictures. They're not their trampolines. This one also was not their trampoline. It ended up in a pool. The trampoline decided to go for a swim. And after all these photos, by the way, you may think that trampolines actually have a mind and actually are alive, because the trampolines are literally everywhere. It's like the craziest thing. Actually, I do have a video that I can show you guys as well. This was from the damage yesterday as well in Salina, or Salina, I can't remember. I think it's Salina. This was potential tornado damage here. And these are pretty sure new construction buildings. You can see all the damage here from a possible tornado yesterday. We have a video of that possible tornado on TikTok that I'll show you guys as well. But this was some damage from yesterday, sent in by Zach Mirza. Yeah, this was the possible tornado. I'll pull it up here. Actually, I can just pull it up on here. This was sent in by Carissa Alvarado out of Salina. This was possibly a tornado. I cannot yet confirm whether this was actually yesterday. I've not had a whole lot of reports yet of this, but there may have been a tornado there. You can see all the debris being lifted up there. You can kind of go through the video here, but you see that tornado. It's definitely a rotating cell. It's definitely a tornado, but has not been confirmed yet whether that was definitely a tornado there. We sometimes get sent in, even on North Texas Weather Center, we sometimes get sent in videos that are from, like, you know, years ago, or like, you know, a few weeks ago, that are not actually that day. That doesn't look like one I've seen before. I've never seen a video exactly like that, or even kind of similar to it. So I think that was the actual tornado, but if not, disclaimer, it might have not been it. We've had no other reports. I don't think news stations really reported on it, so I cannot confirm it, but a lot of people were talking about it. But again, that was possibly a tornado there in Texas from yesterday. So yeah, there's some crazy stuff there. Cartoon noises. Honestly, I wish I put cartoon noises into these. That'd be really funny. Because of all the trampolines that we've had, I mean, like, literally, those were just, I only showed you 3. I'll show you a few more. But yeah, we were sent in a ton of various trampoline photos and such. Oh, this is another one. Let me pause this. This is a video sent in by, you can see the trampoline going flying. Watch the person at the bottom right, by the way. There goes the trampoline. This is from Vito Kono out of DFW as well. So again, there was a lot of that sort of stuff yesterday. We have a bunch of, if you want to look at all of it, there are a bunch of photos and videos over on our Facebook page. Feel free to check them out. The link's in the description. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening in North Texas. But we've been marked safe from no more flying trampolines today, which is good news. We don't have to deal with any more trampolines. All right, let's talk about the radar again. No tornado warnings anymore. Let me change that tag at the top of the screen. We do still have severe thunderstorm warnings in eastern Kentucky. These are producing damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. Those primarily in Moorhead, back through London, just kind of to the northeast of London now. Going to be going towards Pikeville, Paintsville, Huntington, and Portsmouth over the next couple of hours. Maysville could maybe see some gusty winds there. We have another area of damaging winds as well that is associated with an inner band of storms from this low pressure system. This is associated back closer to northern Kentucky. It's going to be approaching southern Ohio here pretty soon, where a new tornado watch was issued until 8 o'clock tonight. But this area of storms is producing damaging winds between 60 to 70 miles per hour near Monterey, Vevey, as well as Rising Sun. Those areas are included right now in this ongoing little cluster of severe storms. Again, make sure that you are staying away from windows as these storms continue to move off to the east, especially since, again, damaging winds can knock down trees. And I know a lot of these areas here up and down this entire region have a ton of trees, so that's obviously going to be something to be mindful of there. Severe storms also moving through areas in northern Georgia, about to hit Atlanta, Georgia. So if you're in those areas, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour may occur. Wouldn't rule out a brief or weak tornado embedded in this area of storms as well. There is a tornado watch ongoing until 8 o'clock tonight for this entire region that extends from western Virginia all the way back through West North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, as well as eastern Tennessee. So these areas are all currently in that. Oh, actually, we now have a tornado warning that was just issued for those in Canton. Let's talk about this. Keep pulling this up. We have a new tornado warning that was just issued north of Atlanta. Look at this rotation. It is pretty strong. Going towards Holly Springs, Canton, and north of Woodstock. Again, make sure you seek shelter immediately. Away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Again, brand new tornado warning was just issued for those north of Atlanta, Georgia. This is a pretty dangerous looking cell here. Very strong rotation, very high winds as well. This could very well drop a tornado at any time. The correlation coefficient was not showing debris quite yet. This tornado warning goes for 25 minutes until 4:30 Eastern time. Moving east at about 49 miles per hour. Well, you can go with basically 50. Canton, Holly Springs, Buffington, Freeholm, Little River Landing, Hickory Flat, Union Hill, Holbrook, as well as Ducktown and Bridge Mill and Drew are all included in this tornado warning. So again, get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. If you don't have a room without windows, the best place you can go is like a closet or a bathroom. Bathrooms are always a good option as well. If you have a tub, that's where you should be going, and obviously put something over yourself in case there is a tornado here. Again, this could very well drop a tornado at any time. This is pretty strong rotation from what we've seen so far today. Let's go to the correlation coefficient again. Not indicating any debris on the ground at this time, which is good news. Let's go back over to the velocities again. Radar just updated. Here's a look at the rotation correlation coefficient. Again, not showing any debris right now. And how I know that is because usually when we look at these red colors, that's just indicating rain. Even this orange is usually just rain. Once we start to see greens and dark blues like that, that is typically going to be I can't talk, but basically indicating a possible tornado on the ground. So for right now, it's just rain. But again, tornado could drop at any time, and it could even drop in between radar scans. So again, strong rotation approaching areas near Holly Springs, Georgia, north of Atlanta, Georgia. So make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. Lesson on trampolines: don't buy one. Dangerous in so many ways. I can honestly agree. I really agree with that. And honestly, when they break and stuff, it just gets so annoying. Trampolines are one of the most annoying things. I'll tell you that. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you're tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below so this gets out to more people. Obviously, pretty significant tornado warning here. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Again, we do live streams like this all the time. Stay up to date with all the live streams. We're only 77 subscribers from 34,000. Again, we are monitoring a tornado warning north of Atlanta, Georgia. This is approaching Interstate 575. And near Holly Springs and Canton. That is where we're at right now. I'm going to see if we have any live cameras that we can look at to see what the storm looks like. I'm not sure if Georgia has any, but we're going to glance and look to see. This is again near Interstate 75, or 575, excuse me. I'm not sure if we have any videos from 575. Let's see. There's some on 75. This might be 75 too. You have one live cam, but it's not like really looking at anything here. By the way, if anybody's in Holly Springs or Canton, let me know what you're hearing or seeing there outside the chat. Curious to see what the reports are. Obviously, don't get close to windows. Stay in your safe place. Well, let me know if you're hearing anything out there. Yeah, all these live cams on 75 are not going to be helpful. So yeah, for right now, we don't have any live cams on this storm. But again, rotation right now still in the moderate to strong side of things. It is approaching Holly Springs as we speak in Georgia, just to the south of Canton as well. So again, make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, in an interior room of your home or building. Jaws, you're in this tornado warning? I just saw your thing on Discord. I don't know if you're watching. Stay safe, Jaws. Let's get some stay safe Jaws in the chat, because he's apparently in this tornado warning. Those that are regulars here, you guys probably all know Jaws. Thank you, Neo. Oop, -1. There we go. Jaws is apparently in this tornado warning, or he's at least somewhere around it. How's it going, lovely? Thank you, DK, for becoming a 5-month VIP Chaser member. Let's get some claps in the chat for DK as well. Becoming a 5-month VIP Chaser member. That's a huge commitment. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. All right, let's go and take a look at the correlation coefficient again. We'll see if there's any debris. Again, no debris being lifted up at this time, so we're not looking at an ongoing tornado on the ground. This is, again, radar indicated rotation. The rotation right now is still in the moderate to strong side of things, so a tornado could drop legitimately at any time here near Interstate 575. Again, about to cross into Holly Springs and Canton within the next minute or so. So again, if you're included in this warning, make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Again, this is quickly moving off to the east at 50 miles per hour. Fairly quick moving tornado warning. We also have a damage report coming out of Woodstock, by the way, of a roof damage reported in Woodstock. So, full heads up there. There's been a lot of roof damage being reported recently. How's it going, DK, by the way? I haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Here's the latest radar scan, so actually some good news here. A little bit weaker of rotation, and again, how I know that, for those that want to kind of get a little bit geeky here, in terms of the velocities here, we're looking at winds here going away from the radar. These are the winds going towards the radar, and the radar is positioned to our south back near Atlanta, Georgia, and there's a lot of gray and dull green and red colors in here, which typically means a broadened area of rotation. There is still rotation, it's just much broader, so it's much wider in, you know, actual legitimate, like a 3D picture, basically. If you're looking at the clouds, typically you'll be able to see like rotation kind of far away from each other, not really centered or circularized, making an actual funnel cloud or tornado. So that's what we're seeing here near Canton, is a pretty broad area of rotation. Now, that does not mean you should go outside and look. This does not mean that you should get out of your safe place, because again, these storms, especially in embedded lines of storms, they can produce tornadoes at any time, and they really can drop pretty quickly. So you should stay in your safe place still if you're in Canton or anywhere near Holly Springs. This will again be tracking off to the east towards coming eventually here in Georgia. So again, northern Georgia is where we're currently at across this region. Also, Ducktown will be included in this. There are some interesting town names up here. Talking Rock and Ducktown. I've never heard of a town or city name being called that before. Apparently 110,000 people in Nashville are with no power, by the way. There's a high wind warning in effect, and apparently most of it is from non-thunderstorm winds. Just kind of a little heads up there. So there has obviously been some pretty significant winds today, and that's even behind the actual severe storms. We've seen some pretty substantial damaging winds, non-thunderstorm related, because the low pressure system is at a record-breaking low pressure. I mean, it's down to like 970 millibars. It is causing some pretty high winds. It's basically like a Category 1 hurricane or Category 2 hurricane in terms of pressure. But again, when we're talking about latitude and longitude, we're not really talking about, you know, actual Category 2 winds. And this is not a tropical system, but there are high winds behind this as well. Oh no, DK, what happened? My mom was in the hospital a couple weeks ago. I can imagine what happened there. Tornado went through Evansville, Indiana, and knocked a roof off of a building. That does not surprise me. We had a lot of, not tornadoes, but we had a lot of damaging winds widespread across the DFW Metroplex last night when I was live, and there was a ton of photos of, you know, some buildings were even like collapsed, like weaker buildings that are not really structurally sound. There was a ton of like roofs ripped off or damaged, shingles were everywhere, trees were knocked down. We had a lot of trampolines. I already mentioned this. I've posted like 50 different trampoline photos on Facebook because, I mean, trampolines were literally everywhere in North Texas. People did not anchor down their trampolines. And I have photos again on our Facebook page if you want to check that out. I'll be showing a few after this tornado warning, but yeah, it's pretty wild what happened yesterday in North Texas, especially. Again, we are currently in northern parts of Georgia near Holly Springs and Canton. Rotation is slightly broad at this time, moving towards Cumming, Georgia. Now just crossed over Interstate 575. It's about to be moving into parts of basically going towards Ducktown right now. So areas back over near Ducktown, make sure you're starting to get towards your safety place. Don't have to be in your safe place now, but get there within the next couple of minutes because this storm is really moving quickly at 50 miles per hour off to the east. I live in Ducktown, Tennessee. All right, well, I guess there's more than one Ducktown. I thought there was just one. Well, I guess there's more. We're in Georgia, by the way. That's the Ducktown that we're talking about. Sorry, having seizures. I'm sorry to hear. Live in Alabama by the Gulf, and there's high wind causing the Gulf to look more like a tropical storm that was moving in. Yeah, I mean, this low pressure system is absolutely insane with the winds and stuff like that. Again, this is a low pressure system that is currently at 977 millibars. It is a very strong low pressure system. This isn't any this isn't like, I wouldn't say this is like, common. It's definitely not common. This is a pretty rare sort of low pressure system. It literally caused record breaking pressure back over in Louisville. But this is the wind gusts that are being estimated over the next few hours. I'll bring this up really quickly. We'll go back to the tornado warning in a second, but these are the wind gusts back up into Kentucky and Tennessee over the next few hours, up to 70 miles per hour, maybe even higher than that in some spots. That is not from thunderstorms. This is from the this is basically from the wind gradient that we have here. And again, temperature gradient's also very strong here. Wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour behind this low pressure system. That is absolutely wild, to say the least. And yeah, I can definitely assure you that that is not something that happens very often. It's definitely rare, to say the least. All right, back over to here. Again, we're currently monitoring a tornado warning north of Atlanta. This is near Canton and Holly Springs, moving toward Ducktown in Georgia. And that's our current tornado warning. We have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings around this as well that we'll be keeping a close eye on. Rotation is located here. It has broadened out. All right. It has broadened out substantially over the last several minutes. But again, this is quickly moving off to the east. 1 second. I am going to turn off my face cam so I can put my curtain back up that just fell almost onto my face. 1 second. Be right back. I'm still here, by the way. All right, I think it's back up and it should not fall this time, hopefully. That just scared the absolute crap out of me. All right, we're back. That curtain literally just about fell on my head. All right, again, we are currently monitoring a tornado warning north of Atlanta. This is the latest on the tornado warning. They've actually shifted this, so now the National Weather Service thinks the rotation is located a bit further up here to the north. This is the area of rotation right now. Make sure it doesn't fall again. But right now, this is where our area of rotation is located. This is, again, east of 575. So, again, if you're in this area, make sure to seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is quickly approaching Ducktown in just west of Cumming, Georgia. That's where we're at right now. Yeah, this is a bit more of a zoomed out look. So this is, again, north of Atlanta. That's where we're at right now. Small tornado warning, but again, Freeholm, Lethamtown, and Ducktown are the 3 locations still included in this ongoing tornado warning. And Ducktown apparently has a population of almost 20,000. There's a lot of people that actually live here. Apparently, by the way, this is just coming in, breaking news. Death toll in Alabama is 3. That is from the severe storms. Those are all due to falling trees. And this is why I reiterate all the time, get away from windows, even in severe thunderstorm warnings, and get to the lowest floor possible. I always say this, especially with severe thunderstorms, because again, damaging winds can knock over trees, especially in an area like this in Georgia and Alabama, where there are a ton of trees. So, I mean, that's a big thing. I literally reiterate that all the time. Always get away from windows in any severe thunderstorm warning that's capable of, again, damaging winds or hail. They are serious threats still, and especially with, again, death toll of 3 is no joke. I mean, obviously, any death is no joke. You should always be away from windows, lowest floor possible, in any damaging wind or hail event, especially tornado warnings too. But damaging winds can be just as bad as a tornado. I mean, it really can. And when it comes to trees and stuff like that, it's definitely very dangerous. So, but yeah, that just came out. That was according to James Spann on Twitter. Just saw that report come out. Reflections? I don't even know what you're talking about, but okay. Power flickering in Decatur, Georgia. Thank you for the report. If you're in Georgia, by the way, let me know what you're seeing out there in the chat. If you're anywhere in Georgia, let me know what you're seeing. I'm going to put on any duration so anybody can chat when they subscribe. Again, here's your tornado warning. It's still ongoing for Ducktown in Georgia. If you're in this area, again, get to your safe place immediately. I did mention Ducktown. You got a couple minutes until this actually hits your location, but it's going to be there within the next like 2 to 3 minutes. Obviously, rotation has weakened quite substantially in the last few minutes. And again, how I know that, the reds are the winds going away from the radar. Our radar site is positioned south of this point. These are the winds going towards the radar. And overall, there's a lot of dull greens and reds in here, so the rotation right now is still in the broad sense of things. But again, that does not mean there won't be a tornado. It just means for the time being, we're seeing broader rotation. This could strengthen again at any time. So if you're anywhere in these areas east of Interstate 575, make sure again that you're getting to your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building, away from windows. We're still watching that storm pretty closely. It's a bit more of a widespread view of everything. We have a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings in northern Kentucky as well. We're going over all the other warnings here in a couple minutes. We're just primarily looking at the tornado warning here for just a few more minutes. I do have a fear of falling curtains. That's no joke. This curtain literally fell on me one time during a live stream, and it literally hit my head, and it kind of hurt for a little bit. It's not like a light curtain. So, I mean, when that curtain fell that one time, I was like, I kind of have the fear. And this curtain, like, I only put up during live streams. It has a good sound barrier. Again, I'm in a college dorm room, so it's like, you know, I kind of need it, especially with an echoey room. So it kind of helps prevent the echo a bit more. What part of Alabama had 3 fatalities? I have no clue. The death toll across all of Alabama was 3 so far from weather-related fatalities. Oh, and Talladega, I don't know if I'm saying the name right, Lexington and Huntsville. Those 3 counties, or towns, cities, that sort of thing. Those are the 3 areas that had fatalities. Those were all associated from damaging winds from trees being falling onto homes and buildings. So those are all the 3 fatalities that just were reported and confirmed, it sounds like there. By the way, just a heads up, for those that are planning on planting this weekend, I want to give everybody a heads up right now. There will be another shot of cold air next week. There could be temperatures back below freezing across a large chunk of the United States. So therefore, do not plant in a lot of areas. Obviously, make sure you're monitoring your local forecast. I'll have a forecast on all of this tomorrow because, again, winter will be returning, potentially. Not really winter, but like winter temperatures will be returning. But temperatures across, even in Texas and like Louisiana, temperatures could drop into the 30s in some areas. We could see temperatures down into the mid to upper 20s in North Georgia, North Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, basically everywhere that's seeing severe weather today. All those areas could drop below freezing again. And so we have to really monitor that pretty closely. Again, winter is not over yet. So just a little heads up there. Temperatures are going to drop again. It has been a very strange winter. That's undoubtedly what's been happening. That has been a very strange last few months, to say the least, with weather. If you're just tuning in, by the way, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We are currently only 50 subscribers from 34,000. Also, make sure to hit the like button down below. Helps get this out to more people that are being impacted by the severe storms. It'll be your one-stop shop for severe weather coverage for the next hour or 2 as the severe storms continue to impact areas from the southeast all the way back through the Ohio Valley. There's also a winter storm ongoing, believe it or not. So we'll be also talking about that a little bit probably at some point if severe weather does wind down a little bit. This is your latest radar scan, by the way. I'm guessing this tornado warning will be like to expire. The rotation is really weakened. For those that are wondering what it looked like a few minutes ago, this is what the storm looked like at one point. Actually had some pretty strong rotation. At one point back near Holly Springs, you can see it here, a bit tighter and stronger just to the west of Interstate 575, but over the last several minutes, it has become very broad. Just again now, just to the west of Ducktown in Georgia. So yeah, it has become much weaker over the last few minutes, which is great news for sure. But we are still watching a damaging wind threat across this large area. Again, extending from western Georgia back through areas into North Carolina now for damaging winds up to 75 miles per hour. So across this entire cluster of storms, we're watching for that threat. Again, tornado warning will be ongoing for another 7 minutes unless it is canceled, which I don't think it has yet been canceled. By the way, this is the most For those that are wondering from yesterday, this is the most viral photo I've had so far, I think, for the trampolines that flew in North Texas. This one was attached to a tree. Obviously, no, that is not supposed to be there. But that was from the damaging wind gusts from yesterday. Good reminder, by the way. Always hatch down your trampoline before severe weather, because things like that happened a ton yesterday in North Texas. A ton, I tell you. It was wild. Snow flurries in Chicago. Appreciate the report. Latest update, by the way, this severe thunderstorm warning just got condensed a little bit. It is producing 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This is going to be approaching Atlanta, Georgia here, and as well as Sandy Springs over the next, really, 15 to 20 minutes. So if you're in these areas, again, make sure you're getting ready. Severe storms are moving at a pretty good pace, around 40 to 50 miles per hour there. Storms further up to the north are moving slightly quicker. Tornado warning right now just to the west of Cumming and near areas in Ducktown. This tornado warning will expire in 5 minutes. So just stay in shelter for the next 5 minutes. And this is the look at the velocities right now. I'll refresh the radar real quick. But again, goes for 5 more minutes here. Rotation is weakened quite substantially. This is our area of rotation now. Not really strong at this point. Wouldn't be overly concerned about the tornado threat anymore. Definitely much more of a damaging wind threat at this point. Up to 75 miles per hour. Yeah, DK, I mean, it's actually insane. I posted about 40, I've gotten sent in over the last 24 hours, just in North Texas alone, approximately, I mean, the exact, I don't know the exact number, but at least about 200 different trampoline photos. They're all different, not the same trampoline. At least 200 trampoline photos, though. And obviously, they were absolutely everywhere. So, yeah, there were some crazy ones. Again, if we get a little bit of downtime for a few minutes, I'll show you a lot of them. We've had a lot of crazy videos, too. It's pretty interesting, to say the least. Trampoline Central. The new state bird, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard, the new state bird in Texas is the trampoline. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Just reported as of last night. Any update as it moves east? Not really. The main threat for the rest of tonight, or really the rest of today, it's not really tonight yet, but the rest of today will be damaging winds across Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Damaging winds between 50 to 70 miles per hour will be possible. And along with that, still a few embedded tornadoes in this line are also possible. Hail threat is very low. I would say that's pretty much near zero. It's going to be really just small hail, if anything. Linear lines of storms and hail just do not mix. They really just don't. So I would not really expect a whole lot of a hail threat out of this. It's going to be more of a damaging wind component. By the way, for those that might think I'm serious, I'm not being serious. It is not the state bird. I don't even know what the state bird of Texas is. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what the state bird of any state is. I literally could not tell you. I don't really pay attention to those things. Tornado warning, by the way, was just canceled for those in Ducktown and anywhere around that area. So if you're in that region in Ducktown, Georgia, tornado warning has officially been canceled. We are now back to just severe thunderstorm warnings. I know the warning is still on here, but we're just going to move on from that since the warning has officially just been canceled from the National Weather Service here near Atlanta, Georgia. Mockingbird? Yeah, I definitely didn't know that. That's great, Born. That's good. Glad you're in your safe place. That's actually wild. Nightbot still says things about coverage, and it's not even right. I kind of forgot that was a thing. If you say a certain word, Nightbot will tell you where I'm covering, and it says Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Midwest. It also says tonight, which none of those things are even accurate. Kind of forgot that was a thing. All right, let's go back up to the north. We haven't talked about really anywhere up here for a while in Kentucky. We've been really covering that tornado warning. Let's talk about some of the severe storms back over into Kentucky as well as into Ohio. Ohio's about to get hit by these storms. If you're near Cincinnati, damaging winds up to 60 will be possible over the next several minutes. And these will be producing, again, damaging winds around 60 to maybe 70 miles per hour, moving pretty quickly, again, off to the northeast. This is, again, the inner band of storms with this low pressure system. Our low pressure is located right about here. We have one inner band of storms here. We have another one. This is our outer band of storms. That's our main area of damaging winds back out to the east. And again, this is a low pressure system that's almost like a category 1 hurricane. And so what we're talking about here with a category 1 hurricane, like, you know, for example, when we're talking about like a category 1 hurricane back in the Gulf of Mexico, there's typically multiple bands of storms, right? And so for this, it's not actually a category 1 hurricane, even though it's producing wind gusts as high as 70 miles per hour behind the storms. We typically see some of these bands. We have one out here to the east, and then we have an inner band over here near Cincinnati that's producing severe weather as well. So a couple of different little areas to watch here. One's producing, again, damaging winds primarily. This one on the outer band is primarily damaging winds with a brief or weak tornado threat also. And we also have some rain and stuff like that back over into other areas into Ohio and as well as Indiana. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings are about to expire here near Moorhead. Damaging winds around 60 to 70 will continue for those near Grayson, as well as back east of Moorhead near Paintsville and Portsmouth. These damaging winds are between 60 to 70 miles per hour. Huntington will be in the track of this here pretty soon. And the line of storms actually breaks apart here near Pikeville. So Pikeville might get kind of missed by the severe weather here for the most part. Might be some gusty winds, but that'd be about it. And then more severe weather down through areas in North Carolina right now. Recent report of 54-mile-per-hour winds. That was a non-thunderstorm related wind gust in Andrews about an hour ago. Couple of areas of severe storms in western North Carolina. But a lot of that storm action is breaking apart back over there. And then we have pretty much numerous to nearly widespread damaging winds across Georgia right now, around 60 miles per hour. So that's what we're looking at across, again, from Kentucky and Ohio back through here. And in addition to this, by the way, I do want to mention this. This is not just a severe weather event. There's actually a winter storm beginning to brew in Michigan, as well as back into areas like northern Indiana, near Chicago. I just had somebody say in chat there were some flurries in Chicago. So if you have any reports, by the way, feel free to let me know in the chat. If you have any reports anywhere across this region, let me know. We've had some wind gusts, by the way. These are all behind the low pressure system. This is not from severe thunderstorms. We've had wind gusts almost up to 70 miles per hour now behind this low pressure system. I just mentioned this. The wind gusts behind the low pressure system might actually be worse in terms of like behind the storms. They actually might be worse than the storms themselves. A lot of these areas have seen now 70-mile-per-hour winds have been confirmed in the Louisville area. And again, this is all behind this very strong low pressure system. Here's your low right here. And my pen just glitched out. 1 second. Right, let me redraw this. So this is your low pressure system right here. These are your very strong winds coming in from behind it. And we have very high winds upwards of, again, 60 to 75 miles per hour behind the line of storms. And then again, your colder air is kind of circling around here, this low pressure system here, centered over central and southern Indiana right now. One of the strongest low pressure systems in history across the Ohio Valley. So pretty impressive little storm here. All right, let's go back down to Georgia for now. Again, damaging winds around 60 currently happening across northern and western Georgia. No worries, guys. A trampoline flew by my house and I jumped on it. I'm safe now. Alrighty. Thank you, Cheryl, John, Rune, and Ricky for all subscribing, by the way. I appreciate it. If you're new here, by the way, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It is free to do, and we do live streams across the entire United States for severe weather coverage, winter storm coverage, you name it, we do it. So make sure to subscribe down below, click the bell icon as well while you're down there, and also make sure to like the video if you're enjoying the stream so far. I am sick. Again, I'm very congested. I am surprised I've been live for this long, but we've lasted so far. We're gonna be live here for a little while, covering what's happening in terms of severe weather. Again, we got tornado watches until 7 to 8 o'clock tonight, so we'll be live for at least an hour or two more, covering what's going on here. And we actually now have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for those near Atlanta, Georgia. So this area also has a tornado possible label on it. So keep that in mind. You can see that here. National Weather Service does think there's some broad rotation associated with one of these little storms. I'll look at the velocities here in a second. But damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour will be possible as these storms move towards areas in and near Atlanta, Georgia, as well as near Sandy Springs. So again, make sure you get to your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. How's it going, Sniper? Also, if you hear a bunch of voice cracks, that's also why. I think I've voice cracked at least 20 times in the last, like, 2 hours. Or, it's not been 2 hours, it's been an hour and a half, but... yeah, so this is what it looks like on the velocities right now. It is not a tornado warning. There's a tornado possible label, and what that typically means is that there's some broad area of rotation. That is actually located up here. That's near Powder Springs, going towards Marietta, and as well as Keensaw. Those areas will be in the track of this here pretty soon. It is broad, not something that you need to absolutely get to your safe place in a very low possible way or whatever. This is not like an actual tornado warning, but it's something to monitor. Obviously, there's a chance here for maybe a tornado spin up here, and you can see the latest scan. does increase that rotation just a little bit northwest of Powder Springs. So again, make sure you get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're able to. If you're anywhere in the severe thunderstorm warning, because as I mentioned before, there have been 3 confirmed fatalities in Alabama, and those were all from falling trees. So if you live near trees, it is a very good idea to get to a very low spot in your house, away from windows. That way, if there were to be a tree falling, you won't obviously get hit by it, or at least be pretty prevented from it at the bare minimum. How's it going, Clocks? Kenny Saw, thank you. By the way, Tornado Watch has been condensed a bit further. It has been condensed over the last few hours, but anywhere behind this line of storms, you are done for severe weather for today. Just a heads up there. So if you're anywhere west or north of this line, you're done with severe weather. However, there could still be some wind gusts as high as 40 to 50 miles per hour behind this line of storms. A barn collapsed, by the way, over in Coosa. That's in Floyd County, Georgia. We also had college staff reporting a tree down on the Shorter College campus. We have a lot of trees down, it looks like. A lot of damage reports are now coming out of these areas. Tree down also in Emerson in Georgia. That is a tree down across a Highway 41, southbound 1 mile north of Dabbs Bridge Road. Roof damaged near Woodstock. Tree down also back over in Cobb County. We have a lot of damage reports here out of Cobb County. Power lines also damaged, or at least downed in Kennesaw. I think somebody just said State University. And along with that, we also have a tree down on the Chimney Springs Drive area. So again, we have a lot of power lines going down. Expect power outages in some of these areas. Again, make sure you have your phone fully charged right now. Everybody in the chat, if you're anywhere in these severe storms or you're about to get hit, right now, charge your phone. Make sure it's at 100% just in case you do lose power. And additionally, have flashlights out and handy, and make sure you have batteries in them as well in case you do lose power tonight, which there's a pretty strong likelihood that some areas will. It's going to remain isolated scattered, across these areas. We are currently around in Alabama 150,000 without power. Georgia's at 60,000 without power, and Tennessee has the most power outages across any state with 300,000 without power, and Kentucky's at 270,000 right now without power. So power outages are pretty significant right now across the southeast, back through the mid-Atlantic, and even into the Ohio Valley. So there will definitely be some power outages out of this tonight. Thank you, Lane, as well as Zeke, for subscribing as well. Appreciate it. If you have any reports, by the way, that what you're seeing outside, make sure to let me know in the chat. Obviously, again, stay away from windows as these storms approach, but if you're hearing anything, seeing anything, let me know in the chat. And I'm looking for a few reports here out of these storms that we're seeing. We have severe weather that ranges, actually, now we have a new warning in Cincinnati for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. If you're right now in Cincinnati, make sure to get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Again, this is a dangerous storm producing damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. Trees, again, could get knocked down from this. That could land on your home. So make sure, again, that you're getting to your safe place if you're in Cincinnati or anywhere in the outskirt areas right now of this region. Again, this is an area that we're watching for the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour back up in Cincinnati. This is in southwestern Ohio. Getting more windy in Asheville, North Carolina. Thank you. Almost no wind in Zanesville, Ohio. I have no clue where that is. I'm not going to lie. But appreciate the report. There is a possibility you're either right before a storm is hitting, or no, that's actually probably what's happening. You're probably before an actual storm hitting your location, which is likely leading to a pretty low amount of wind. Back down into Georgia, by the way, we are watching a tornado possible storm here. There's a couple of pockets of rotation. The main one is right here near Marietta. So if you're in this area, again, heads up. There is a very small area of rotation. It is really weak, so it's not concerning right now, but just make sure that you are aware of that. Also, another pocket of rotation trying to develop back down south of Interstate 20. This is, again, west of Georgia, or west of Atlanta, excuse me, Georgia. This is in Georgia, but might be another area to watch for here over the next few minutes. All right, let's go back up to Cincinnati for a few minutes. If we get any other updates on those warnings, we'll go back to Atlanta in a few minutes. But we're going to go back to Cincinnati, and we're going to take a look at the velocities. We'll see if there's anything too crazy going on here. And yeah, the winds right now out in front of this area of storms currently being estimated to be near 70 miles per hour. You can see a few pockets of that right now. A lot of estimates here on the velocities radar, right around 70 miles per hour. I got 4 different pinpoints here. But yeah, again, wind gusts are as high as 70 near Cincinnati. So if you're in this area, again, make sure that you are staying away from windows. As again, the radar site's also just off to the east-northeast, so these should be pretty accurate values. Few hundred feet off the ground, so the values might be slightly lower at the surface, but we are still talking about some significant damaging winds. Again, currently moving through Cincinnati. Covington just got hit by that. You're now seeing the storms. Middleton will also be hit by some gusty winds here pretty soon. New Richmond, if you're in New Richmond, get away from windows. Damaging winds again up to 70 will be possible there. Bedford, Indiana. Yeah, anywhere in Indiana, you are done with storms. But the only thing is there will be high winds behind this. We'll have wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour over the next few hours behind this last line of storms. So yeah, if you're in southern Indiana, just be mindful of that. Wind gusts are still possible up to 70 miles per hour. So I would still recommend staying away from windows for the time being, because again, those winds could definitely knock down some trees. Any tornadoes today? At this point, I know of at least 2 that were confirmed. But other than that, I don't have a clue, because I was not really paying attention. Literally, I've been sick. Again, I am sick right now. I was resting for most of today. The only time frame that I've been really covering or really looking at the weather has been since about 2:30. So from what I know, I think there's at least been 2 tornadoes, but there might have been a few more than that. I'm not entirely positive there. The most recent tornado warning just ended about 15 minutes ago or so. But we might get a new one here pretty soon. We've been watching the storm back northwest of Atlanta, Georgia. A little bit concerning. We've had a couple of little pockets here of rotation kind of embedded in this line. There's like very small ones down here. They're all very weak right now, but if they're able to become organized and start to strengthen a bit, might see a little bit of a tornado threat increase here just west of Atlanta, Georgia. So what we have to be mindful of here near Atlanta would be definitely the damaging wind component of these storms, up to 60 miles per hour, but there's definitely a chance for a couple of embedded tornadoes in this line of storms as it continues to move off to the east over the next several minutes. All right, real quickly, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in 45 seconds. If you have any questions, leave those in the chat. I'll be back again in 45 seconds. Stay tuned. Take a quick break. I just wanted to give you a friendly reminder to hit that red button down below and subscribe. That way you never miss an accurate and honest forecast from Max Velocity. Also, make sure to hit that bell icon and click all so you receive all notifications when I go live or I have a video forecast for you. Also, hit the like button down below as well. Helps our page out a lot. And if you're feeling generous and you want to support our page above and beyond, you can become a member for as little as $2.99 per month. All you need to do is click that little join button and you can select from 4 different tiers, which will give you different benefits from bloopers access to exclusive forecasts. You will also get a shout out here on our live stream. We'll be right back. All right, I am back. I bet for those that have been here for a while, by the way, you probably have not seen that taking a break slide in a long time. That is actually old. I have to update that. That's I made that back in like September. But yeah, if you're wondering. All right, back to the severe weather and all that. 1 second, just gotta check if there's any other updates on Twitter. I haven't looked at Twitter in a few minutes. Let me just check to see if we have any storm reports coming out of these storms. Again, we are watching storms from Cincinnati, Ohio, back through near Atlanta, Georgia. We do have a new update, actually. For those, I'm going to kind of circle the area. Unless I can pull it up on here. I might be able to pull it up. No, I can't. So, the current area that we're watching now, let's go and kind of highlight this. So, this is a region right now that we're watching over the next 2 to 3 hours for the potential for damaging winds and brief tornadoes. That will continue for the next 2 to 3 hours. So, if you're in this region, that is where we're watching right now for a bit of an increased threat, again, of potentially damaging winds and along with a few brief tornadoes. Also, report out of Louisville, Kentucky, a 5-inch diameter tree limb was just snapped. So that was probably from gusty winds or damaging winds there. A little update out of Louisville. See if we have any other reports here. In Murvana Park in Ohio, there is high water on 270 closing inner lanes of the highway. So just a heads up there. There might be some delays there on Highway 270. Couple miles northwest of Minerva Park. I might be mispronouncing that name, but you get the point. And that's in Ohio from some high water. A couple of lanes are closed at least there due to the rising flood waters, which flooding is a possibility back up in those areas due to how much rain they're going to see over the next 24 hours. With this low pressure system, all the rain for the most part is on the northern side. If we go ahead and kind of go full picture here, this is the region of where we're watching. So back up here is where a ton of precipitation is falling, ranging from rain, heavy rain, there's even some freezing rain, some snow. It's literally everything back over into the Ohio Valley and even into parts of the Midwest. And then back down here, this is your line of storms that's producing severe weather, not nearly as prominent for a damaging, or not damaging wind, not nearly as prominent for a flooding threat, but more of a damaging wind and tornado threat exists down this direction. So there's a couple of different parts to this entire system up here, and this is where your low pressure system's located as well. Currently over Indianapolis right now, pressure is probably down to around 977 or so. All right, storms are starting to approach Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be keeping a close eye on this. If you're in Atlanta, storms are now starting to approach the area. So again, heads up for those in Atlanta. See if we can get some live cams here. I'm gonna see if we have any live view currently on these storms. Not sure if we do. We're about to find out. I have a couple of views here on the storms here. The skies are getting pretty dark. I can say that near Georgia, or near Atlanta, excuse me. Yeah, the skies are getting pretty dark near Atlanta right now due to these storms approaching. Storms are still a good 10 to 15 miles to your west, but they will be approaching quite quickly. See if we have any other views on this storm right now. They're not, it's not like pitch black, but it is a little bit darker. Obviously, we have some high cloud tops here. I'm not sure what the cloud tops are right now, but they're probably around 30 to 35,000 feet, I would say, in this region. Light poles blown over at GE in Louisville. Pulled out of ground. Thank you for the report. Appreciate it. So apparently in Louisville, we have light poles are blown over. And that doesn't surprise me. Again, back up in the Louisville area, the wind gusts right now behind the line of storms. The line of storms are done in those areas in Kentucky, but wind gusts are still 70 miles per hour. And it gives you an idea of how strong this low pressure system is back up in Indiana. Again, the low pressure system is at 977 millibars. And for comparison, if this were to be in like the Atlantic Ocean about to make landfall in Florida as like a tropical system, that's like a category 1 to 2 hurricane. So you can kind of get the general picture. This is a pretty strong low pressure system back up right now in Indiana, and all the wind is just feeding into the back end of this low pressure system, and we are seeing massive wind gusts between 60 to 75 miles per hour. And those are consistent wind speeds, by the way. Those aren't just quick downburst winds from a severe storm. No. These are actual, wind gusts from behind a cold front that are ushering right now into Kentucky. So again, very impressive what we're seeing there. Nashville even has been seeing wind gusts around 60 to 70 miles per hour. We've had roofs blown off over in parts of Tennessee as well from these winds, especially unstable roofing. That definitely is at risk today. So again, we are seeing some pretty wild stuff right now across those areas. And it is all to do with the very strong low pressure system that is out there. So yeah, again, crazy stuff to say the least. Here's the velocities, by the way. We've been watching a low tornado threat with this area of storms. Looking down near Douglasville, we have some weak rotation. We have another pocket of it near Marietta. This is the area that I've been watching most closely for, but it's still weak and broad, so not concerning for the short term, but might produce something at some point in terms of maybe a brief tornado. But you really need to be more concerned about the damaging wind threat, because that will probably be the biggest threat for the next few hours. Damaging winds can knock over trees, and just a friendly reminder, Alabama, not too long ago, just confirmed 3 deaths from trees falling on homes from weather-related events, which that was likely from just damaging winds. So just be mindful of that. Make sure you're staying away from windows and on a lower floor of your home or building until the storms pass, because again, wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour definitely can cause trees to be knocked down across this region, again, north of Atlanta, Georgia. And that's really where we're watching right now, is this area, due to the fact there are some severe storms not too far away from Atlanta right now. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We do live streams across the United States all the time. We are only 10 subscribers from 34,000, so make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to hit the like button down below so this gets out to more people that are in the track of these severe storms. Easiest way to support my page. Thanks, Siren. I appreciate it. How's it going, Luna? How's it going, Hope? How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's staying safe out there, by the way. It's been a very active last 24 hours. I was doing live coverage last night in North Texas for a good, it was a long while. But I was live for a really long time. It was a good 5 hours just covering DFW. We're only doing North Texas last night. This is obviously a nationwide YouTube channel. But we're only covering North Texas last night since I Facebook North Texas Weather Center. And last night was absolutely insane. Today is not nearly as bad as what yesterday was, but it's still pretty notable. And I saw some people talking about how this might be a big tornado outbreak. I kind of was hesitant on actually saying that really today because with linear lines of storms like this, the tornado threat is usually not nearly as high, especially in this sort of setup. So I didn't see a huge tornado threat. I know the HRR model is showing significant tornado parameter values, but to be honest with you, I really expected much higher of a damaging wind threat because of the just the aspect of this low pressure system being so strong. We have a very strong wind gradient across this entire area. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely a damaging wind threat all the way, but tornado threat was still there though. We still had a significant tornado threat. I don't know how many tornadoes we've had today. If anybody knows in the chat how many tornadoes we may have had today, let me know. I know we've at least had about 1 or 2, but other than that, I'm not entirely sure what the exact number is. Let me know if you know in the chat, but I have no clue. How's it going, Jake? Thanks, Sarag. I appreciate it. Traffic cam near Georgia Tech in Midtown is shaking a lot. Do you know what the exact area is? Let's see. Try to see if I can find it here. See if I can pull that up, and we'll see if we can figure out where this exact location of this live cam is for these storms. Again, these storms are quickly approaching Atlanta, Georgia. This is on the north side, so let's go here. There's a lot of cameras. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is the camera in Atlanta right now. It doesn't let me full cam. All right, let me see if I can try to. For some reason, it won't let me full screen this video. Yeah, the camera's shaking a lot right now in Atlanta. It's not gonna let me full screen it, but yeah, basically the winds right now are starting to really pick up in Atlanta. I don't know if anybody right now in this live stream is in Atlanta, Georgia, but let me know. The winds are definitely picking up there pretty quickly. Traffic is also seriously backed up there in Georgia. So yeah, the wind is definitely picking up there. But it might be one of those power line or power poles or whatever that are like, you know, the wired ones, not like the actual poles. So that's also possible. Yeah, it's true. The winds are definitely gonna be killing those the updrafts. That's without a doubt. The winds are so strong. It's too strong, honestly, for a significant tornado threat today. Really windy in Loganville, Georgia. Thank you for the report. Appreciate it. Yeah, the winds are definitely high here. Let's see if we can put on the METAR data. And METAR data, for those that are wondering, is a fancy name for airport data. In terms of like airports, what they're measuring for wind gusts and stuff like that. So right now, actually, just west of Atlanta, near Mableton, 43-mile-per-hour wind gust just out in front of the line of storms. We have some inside these storms around 30 to 40 most recently. So those were around, actually, that was over 2 hours ago. This is more recent, 38 miles per hour near Kennesaw. And then just west of Atlanta, that's where we're actually, crazy enough, this is an hour ago. The wind gusts in Atlanta were 43 miles per hour. Look at these wind gusts, by the way, up here in Kentucky. There's no severe weather right now, but the wind gusts are around 60 to 70 miles per hour. Louisville right now is at 70 miles per hour. Anybody right now in the chat from Louisville? I'm kind of curious. Or anywhere in northern Kentucky? Anybody from that area? The winds are insane up there. I'm telling you, this low pressure system is so strong. Again, it's like a Category 1 hurricane. Just obviously, again, we're kind of at the wrong latitude and longitude here. We have to be back down in the Pacific Ocean for this to actually be like a Category 1 or 2 type hurricane, but it's not, again, a hurricane. So it's like one, though. I like to make a little comparison there because they are quite similar. They're definitely similar. Right next to Decatur in Georgia. Nice. Yeah, stay safe there. Let me fix this. There we go. Yeah, here's your live radar feed. Let's actually go to the velocities. I'm curious to see if we have any spin-ups trying to develop here near Georgia or Atlanta, Georgia. Nothing really now near Marietta. We had a little pocket of rotation at one point. That is weakened. Further down to the south, there is still a small pocket of very weak and broad rotation near Interstate 20. This will be difficult to really develop into any sort of tornado, but it is something to watch out for as it continues to move towards Atlanta, Georgia, for maybe a quick little tornado. So keep that in mind. Again, we'll be keeping a close eye on that near Atlanta. Snowing like crazy in Detroit. Yeah, there's going to be a winter storm there. It's going to be quick moving, though. I mean, you're going to see a ton of snow, but it's not going to last very long. The amount of snow that you're going to see is going to be like 6 to 10 inches. But again, it's going to be pretty quick. It's not going to be like a quick little, or it's going to be pretty quick. It's not going to be like a slow moving snowstorm or something like that that dumps feet of snow. But you might get up to a foot. It's possible, but I'd say probably 6 to 10 inches is more reasonable. Back over in Cincinnati, severe storms are still rolling through. 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds are still possible associated with these storms. Damaging wind threat, though, is moving a bit further off to the east of Cincinnati, but you will have the potential for wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour behind these severe storms eventually. We have a couple of storms over in eastern Kentucky, southern Ohio as well that are severe, producing damaging winds around 60 miles per hour. Most of these are becoming outflow driven, which would pretty much just mean that we're going to see more of a damaging wind threat in comparison to a tornado threat this far up to the north, but it's not out of the question. A brief tornado is still not impossible, but it's definitely a lower threat at this time. Further down to the south into North Carolina, we'll take a quick glance at this storm. Actually, this is in Virginia. We're going to begin with Virginia here. Back north of Johnson City, Bristol area, back in, again, far western Virginia. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour is ongoing with this storm. Let's pull up the live radar feed here. And here's the live radar. So again, a little storm here, not impressive, but again, we are going to see wind gusts up to 60 with this storm, just due to the fact, again, we have a very primed environment for damaging winds today. Even though these supercells aren't overly impressive, we have very weak updrafts, which is causing, again, a lower tornado threat overall. And not just that, we are definitely just primarily going to see a damaging wind threat. These back over near Interstate 26. Again, this is again going to be into North Carolina now. We are seeing some damaging winds around 60 miles per hour going towards Bakersville and Spruce Pine, as well as Burnsville. Those areas are going to be in the track of this storm, producing damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. That is moving off to the east. Severe weather becomes a much more numerous and widespread as we go into Georgia. A lot of these storms are producing damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Pretty elongated area as well. It goes all the way back into basically almost South Carolina now, but into Tennessee, as well as into North Carolina, really North Carolina now. But yeah, more numerous severe weather now occurring down here into Georgia. We have a couple of new wind damage reports. We have a tree and power lines down on Flint Hill Road in Cobb County. We've had a lot of reports of power lines and trees down in Cobb County over the last little while. Also, a tree was down on a chimney. There was a tree that was downed on Chimney Springs Drive. That is a road. I thought that was actually an actual chimney, but that's on an actual road there. So a tree down in Mount Bethel. That's, again, north of Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia is about to get hit by these storms here within the next 15 to 20 minutes. We'll be keeping a close eye on these in case there's any tornado threat that develops. CC, I'm actually feeling worse than yesterday, but we're powering through it right now. Yeah, I'm way more congested than yesterday, I'll say that. I'm still pretty sick, but worse than yesterday, but I took medication before going live, so I'm not doing too bad right now. Just want water real quick. By the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below. If you're enjoying the stream, helps get this out to more people. You're gonna hear the water sound. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're new here and click the bell icon down below so you get notified when I go live. Again, we do severe weather coverage across the entire United States, and we'll be keeping you safe again from all these severe weather and such. And we also go live for winter storms, so make sure to subscribe as well if you've not already. Appreciate everybody tuning in so far tonight, or today. I keep saying tonight. I feel like it's tonight, but it's not. Yeah, the freeway's already packed. I just looked at it. There's a traffic cam, and there's a ton of people on the roadways right now. Yeah, again, if you look at the velocities radar in terms of the rotation, there isn't much. We have a couple of like little pockets of winds going towards the radar here. These are all going towards the radar. And all these little notches that we're seeing, there's several of them, but the winds going away from the radar are not overly strong. And this has just a lot to do with the current environment that we're in. Linear lines of storms don't always have a tornado threat. And we're not really looking at a QLCS situation with this. But we could get a brief and weak tornado. Again, there's an outflow boundary with this as well. The outflow boundary will pretty much prevent a significant tornado threat from these storms, but there's still a chance for a storm or two to produce a tornado over the next hour or two here, just west or even in around the Atlanta, Georgia region. So we'll have to watch for that threat. But again, the tornado threat is pretty low. It's definitely more of a damaging wind threat over the next several hours. And damaging winds, though, again, you got to treat it as if it is a tornado warning. I just mentioned this earlier. There were 3 fatalities confirmed already in Alabama from earlier today from the damaging winds that came through the state. And those were from trees that were knocked down onto homes. So you can get a general idea there. That is a big threat, right? That is a big threat with these storms, is damaging winds. Even if it's 60 miles per hour or 70 miles per hour, any of those types of winds can knock down trees. And hence why it is called a severe thunderstorm warning. So, obviously, pretty significant stuff here. Yeah, there's a tornado watch ongoing. We have a bunch of, we had a couple of new tornado watches issued recently, and the one actually just expired for northwestern Georgia, but the tornado watches are ongoing. The one back up here in Ohio and into Kentucky, and as well as West Virginia, goes until 7 o'clock tonight. The one over here for those in Tennessee, back through the Carolinas into Georgia, goes until 8 o'clock tonight. We're looking at for that right now. Live in Cincinnati. Did you see anything from that storm in Cincinnati? I think the damaging winds have already moved through your area because the storm is now just off to your east. Let me know if you're seeing anything out there. We officially hit 34,000 subscribers, by the way. Appreciate the support. By the way, we are now, this is kind of a crazy thing, but now I'm officially at 100,000 followers across both YouTube and Facebook. That's pretty wild. Facebook page is North Texas Weather Center. It's not nationwide, but that page is up to 66,000. So we've officially hit 100,000 combined on those two platforms, which is wild. Never would have thought. Never would have thought. Where in Tennessee is the tornado watch? It's just eastern Tennessee. It's going to be east of Knoxville. But even then, the only area that we're really looking at for any sort of, severe weather threat now is going to be back over here where the storms are. So Morristown, you're done with severe weather. Johnson City, you're going to be done here in about 20 minutes or so with any severe weather potential. Newport's done. So yeah, basically almost all of Tennessee is done. The only areas that are still included in a threat would be near Bristol, Johnson City, west of Boone. Those areas are really still in that threat. But after that, Tennessee is pretty much done with severe weather. You still have to deal with wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour behind the entire line of storms. Again, this low pressure system is funneling in very strong winds that are really ushering into a very strong low pressure system back up in Indiana. And what this is essentially doing is bringing wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour from anywhere from Memphis, Tennessee, all the way back through Kentucky, and even into southwestern Ohio. If you're near Cincinnati, there could be some wind gusts over there, upwards of 70 miles per hour in a couple hours. So be mindful of that if you're over that direction. Line of storms is about to be entering into Atlanta. We'll be keeping a close eye on this as it approaches. You have 10 times more subscribers than you had in last May. Yeah, I mean, we really grew fast on YouTube. Especially over the spring and summer when I was live a ton. If you have any reports, by the way, feel free to leave those in the chat. Not much for the storm in Cincinnati, to be honest. Waiting for the non-storm generated winds. Yeah, the winds going through in a couple hours, or really within the next 60 minutes, it could even start then. Those winds will be really dangerous. I mean, we're talking wind gusts still upwards of 60, 70 miles per hour behind the cold front as well as this line of storms. So that's definitely be something that's going to be very concerning tonight for sure. All right, back over to the velocities. Again, we are monitoring a threat for maybe a brief tornado or two as this line of storms does move through Georgia. For right now, there are a couple of little pockets that I've been watching closely. The main area has been back down here west southwest of Atlanta, and then another one back up near Smyrna, near Interstate 75 and 285, that little intersection there. So a couple of pockets of rotation, but neither of them are very strong at this point. They're very broad. The one with more potential, though, will be this one here. Because if you look at the live reflectivity values, you can see all those pinks popping up. That typically represents a higher cloud top here across areas just south of Interstate 20. And with those higher cloud tops, we might have a little bit more rotation. So I'll have to watch for that here kind of closely. Traffic is 7 days a week in Atlanta. Yeah, there's some crazy traffic. If you've ever been to if you've been near Miami, Florida ever before, if anybody ever has, the traffic there is absolutely wild. It is awful, to say the least. I would only imagine Atlanta's pretty bad too. I was looking a second ago and the Atlanta traffic was pretty bad. And I-4 in Florida is also really bad. We have a tornado warning that was just issued. Let's go to that. Brand new tornado warning for those near, actually, east of Cincinnati. So again, brand new tornado warning was just issued. Let's go ahead and change over to this screen here. And let's do this. All right, so again, tornado warning was just issued here for those. Where's my seat a little bit? These are for those over in Bethel, Williamsburg, Mount Orab, as well as near, let's see what this town is, Hammersville. Those areas all included in a brand new tornado warning in southern Ohio. Again, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Away from windows. I cannot stress that enough. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a better view on the velocities here of this storm. And this is our rotation right here. So it's about to be approaching Bethel. Actually, some pretty strong rotation embedded in this storm. About to move into Bethel, Ohio. Again, if you're included in this warning, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. That is our pocket of rotation right now associated with this tornado warning. Bethel will be impacted here in a minute. Williamsburg and Mount Orab will be impacted by this in about 10 minutes or less. So if you're in those areas, get to your safe place as soon as possible. Again, make sure you bring your pets down into your basement or storm shelter. Or if you don't have either of those, bring them into your closet, bathroom, whichever safety place that you're going to for this tornado warning. You know, make sure you bring your pets as well and whatnot. And, you know, have a flashlight handy if you have the time. You have a little bit of time if you're in Williamsburg and Mount Orab. You have about 3 to 4 minutes at least. So if you are in those two areas, you have a few minutes to go ahead and get your phone or whatever and bring it to your safe place. But don't wait long. Obviously, get there as soon as possible. If you're in Bethel, though, get to your safe place immediately, away from windows. This tornado warning storm and the rotation will be approaching here within the next 5 minutes, if not even sooner than that. So again, this is currently in southern Ohio with this brand new tornado warning that was just issued. Pretty strong rotation. Again, it doesn't look like it. We don't have any green values, but this is definitely strong rotation. I would explain it a little bit more in depth here in a second. But here's the latest radar scan. Rotation is now located near 125. This is now northwest of Bethel. So Williamsburg, you'll be hit by the storm within the next 3 minutes. So get to your safe place now. This is your rotation with this tornado warning. Right about there. Right about where that X is. X marks the spot. That's where our rotation is. Here are your winds again going towards the radar. These are away from the radar. That is your rotation right there. Located again just a couple miles now west of Bethel. And right now, like live time, talking about right now because the radar is usually delayed by a minute or two. Right now, this tornado, this rotation is likely crossing over 125. Now, the tornado has not been confirmed yet. It is radar indicated rotation. Again, we could see a tornado at any time as the storm does continue to move off to the northeast towards Williamsburg. Latest radar scan does show slightly weaker rotation, so maybe weakening just a little bit. That is, again, going to be near Bethel, just a couple miles now to the northwest of Bethel. Let me see if I can go to the other radar site here. That's a very close-up radar site. This is the other one north of there. I'm not sure if this will really show anything here. And yeah, it doesn't really show it as well. When we have close-up radar sites like this, they can help for sure. But yeah, right now, north of Bethel, there's maybe still a little bit of rotation there, but it has weakened in the most recent scan. There's not really anything that shows a whole lot of rotation anymore, but we'll keep a close eye on it in case anything does end up transpiring out of it. Again, this is east of Cincinnati. It's where this tornado warning is. All the locations are going to be on the left side of your screen as well. Thanks, Fox. Appreciate it. Thank you, Cindy, for the report. Yeah, there's high winds down in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I'll be going down there in a minute after the tornado warning either expires or starts to wind down here. Again, we're currently in southern Ohio with the breaking tornado warning. There was a bit more of stronger rotation before. Rotation did weaken in the last couple of scans. And what I'm talking about here, we go back a couple scans here while we are in between radar scans. Let me see if I can refresh this for a second. This is when we had stronger rotation, was right here near Bethel. You can see how the rotation's right here. There's like a little notch there. And over the last few minutes, this was near Bethel. Still some rotation there near 222. And now it's kind of fizzled out to more of a damaging wind threat, it looks like. I don't think there's much rotation left here. We'll make sure to confirm that with our next radar scan, so stay in shelter. But it does seem like that rotation was very brief. And again, that's our threat with this line of storms, is brief tornadoes. So these will not last that long for the most part. Latest radar scan still showing maybe a little bit of rotation, but it's probably more of a damaging wind threat right now. But stay in your shelter if you're in Williamsburg or Mount Orab. Those areas will be in the track of this in just a couple minutes. Here's the latest radar scan. So yeah, it seems like it's more of a damaging wind threat that's now beginning to develop instead of what we just saw there, which was a tornado threat. But still stay in shelter just in case. We might see a tornado at any time. So stay in your safe place. All right, let me go over to Twitter. We'll see if there's any reports on here. Actually, a report coming out of Nicholasville, Kentucky. There was just a report of 8-inch tree limbs that were snapped on a side of a road. No debris on the road in that area. So that's in the New Circle Road area. So over in Kentucky. Damage there to an 8-inch tree snapped again on a road. But there's no debris on the road there. That's over in New Circle Road if you're familiar with the Nicholasville, Kentucky area. Let's see. Again, tornado warning still ongoing. The main locations included right now in Ohio. We're in southern Ohio. Currently includes Lake Lorale, as well as Mount Orab, Hammersville, Bethel, and Williamsburg. Bethel is now just passed by the rotation. Damaging winds, though, up to 70 miles per hour are still possible as this moves off to the north and east. Special weather statement in Georgia. That's probably for strong storms then. If you're getting a special weather statement, those are usually just for strong storms. Yeah, so the latest radar scan, the rotation is definitely weakened with this storm. It is becoming more of just now a damaging wind threat. So some good news there. But again, you should stay in shelter just in case there is a tornado at some point with the storm. This actually might be a bit better of a view here. You actually see the inflow going into the storm right here. That's your inflow notch. This is your little hook on this small supercell west of Mount Orab. And then this is your rotation, which doesn't seem like there's much left here. It's kind of weak right now. It could re-strengthen, but it is definitely on the weaker side again. At this point, again, Williamsburg, Mount Orab, make sure you stay in your shelter right now away from windows. Yeah, that's what we're looking at there. Rotation has weakened just a little bit. We'll keep a close eye on it. More of a regional view, by the way, of southwest Ohio back through northern Kentucky. And we are watching severe weather primarily in the Georgia area because there's a lot of warnings down there, but we are still watching this tornado warning as well. See if there's any other damage reports that we're getting out of any of these storms. I've had a few reports. If you're in the areas, by the way, if you have any reports, feel free to leave those in the chat. Again, this is an ongoing tornado warning here. Those in southern Ohio. Keeping a close eye on it over the next few minutes, and then we'll go back to Atlanta here in a second to give you an update what's going on down there. You're way down in the southwest corner of Pennsylvania. I've actually covered that area before for a tornado warning, not too long ago. Severe weather is going to be a pretty low chance there. It's a marginal threat, I think, if anything, in the further southwest corner. But if my memory is not mistaken, I'm pretty sure you're in that marginal threat. Yeah, you're in that marginal threat. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty low threat over that direction. Lexington is clear from severe weather, but you will still have wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour behind the severe weather that we just saw. So keep that in the back of your head. There will still be a chance there for some significant wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour. And that is all associated with that very strong low pressure system that's back over actually over in Indiana right now. So yeah, here's the velocities. I'll go back to them. I'm just waiting for the next radar scan. It should come in here in a second. So yeah, again, rotation's located primarily back over here near Williamsburg. That's our rotation. It's kind of embedded in that thunderstorm. But again, it's not overly strong. It's kind of on the broad side of things again. But stay in shelter if you're in Williamsburg or Mount Orab. We'll keep a close eye on this here for the next few minutes. And then we'll go back down to Atlanta. I believe Atlanta is about to get hit by storms here in just a moment. We have actually power lines down over in... Let me see if I can pull this up here. some damage to a bunch of stuff over in Huntsville, Alabama. Power lines down and damage to fences and stuff like that have happened over in Huntsville. And actually, Huntsville is an area where a tree got knocked down and somebody died because of it. We just had a report out of that. James Spann posted on Twitter a couple hours ago. There's 3 fatalities in Alabama due to trees falling on homes. And yeah, it's definitely, there were some dangerous winds. Yeah, fences being knocked down. That was a big common thing over there. Got a few reports of that. Let's go back to the velocities. We'll stay on this here for a second. Yeah, we still have a little bit of rotation near Williamsburg. That's our main pocket of rotation. Again, stay in shelter if you're in Williamsburg. 68 will be in the track of this in a couple minutes. Mount Arab is also in the track of this storm within the next, really, right now, pretty much. Make sure you stay in your safe place right now. And this does include Brown and Claremont County in Ohio. Those are the 2 counties included right now. It's ongoing tornado warning. Where's this going? Yeah, let me zoom out here. Back to reflectivity. This is what it looks like right now. So we're east of Cincinnati. Hillsborough will be in the track of this particular area of storms, as well as Washington Courthouse. Okay. Is that a town name? I don't know why it's popping up. I'll eventually go towards Columbus a little later, but these will likely not be as severe by the time they get to Columbus. So that's what we're looking at there right now. Back over to the storm relative velocities. Again, we are still monitoring mainly the area near Williamsburg of the rotation. Again, that is near 32, heading towards 68 over the next few minutes. Next radar scan will be coming in here in just a moment, so we'll keep a close eye on that. There's a lot of rotation, though, with these storms in the upper levels. Yeah, the wind shear is pretty intense, but the other thing is, even though the wind shear is really intense, you got to think about the updrafts and stuff. They are being, they're not like the clouds are not really going up that high. We're not seeing supercell thunderstorms embedded in a line of storms. It's a bit of a weird setup because of how high the winds are. It's actually impacting the overall severe weather threat because again, the winds aloft are really, really strong, which is kind of ripping apart some of these clouds and stuff. Makes it a little bit difficult for some of these storms to actually develop. Here's our most recent radar update, by the way. So again, rotation's weakening it quite a bit. So, but again, stay in your shelter if you're anywhere in these areas near Williamsburg. Fayetteville will be in the track of this. 50 and 68 going to be in the track of this as well, north of Mount Arab. Stay in shelter. We're really quickly going to go back to Georgia. Just give you an update on the storms near Atlanta. I do want to talk about these for just about a minute, and then we'll go back to the tornado warning. For those near Atlanta, the storms are actually rolling into Atlanta, Georgia right now. If you're in Atlanta, get away from windows. Wind gusts could be up to 55 miles per hour here. This is a look at the velocities, and not really seeing a whole lot of any like little notches that would indicate a tornado threat in Atlanta right now. But we're definitely looking at more of a damaging wind threat. You see these brighter green colors. That's all representing wind gusts, probably around 55 miles per hour associated with this line of storm. So not at a severe level, but that's definitely at a strong storm level, which could still cause a little bit of minor damage there to some, plants and stuff like that. An umbrella could be knocked down, that sort of thing. So there could be some minor damage out there from these storms right now. Moving through Atlanta, Georgia. But again, no tornado warning right now in Atlanta. We'll go back to this here in a minute. We're going to go back to the tornado warning for a couple minutes to see what's happening here. Go back to this radar site. I'm curious to see if we have a better view here of this. Yeah, we're not really getting very good view anymore from that radar site. We'll have to stick with the one just to the north. So again, rotation is located right here, northeast of Williamsburg. Fayetteville will be in the track of this. 68 in just a minute or two, you'll be impacted. So again, make sure you stay in your safe place. That's the town name. I've never heard of a town name with the name Washington Courthouse before. I didn't even know that was a, I didn't know town names even had courthouse in it. It's interesting. It's just a watch right now, Day, in Tennessee. There is a tornado watch for far eastern Tennessee, but other than that, the tornado threat is pretty much very close to zero now in Tennessee, in the entire state of Tennessee. The only area would be far eastern Tennessee. Thank you, Hayden, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate the support. Any more hard winds? That's one way to describe it. Hard winds in West Tennessee tonight. Other than what's behind the low pressure system with wind gusts up to like 40 to 50 miles per hour, not really. Let me pull up the METAR data again. These are your wind gusts right now. So back over in Tennessee, the wind gusts are like 20 to 30 miles per hour. That's basically it. This will be where they're going to be at for the rest of tonight. The wind gusts are much higher right behind the line of storms. We're talking near 70 miles per hour right now in Louisville. But yeah, over there in West Tennessee, you'll be good. No big concerns there. Thanks again for the $5. Appreciate it. All right, back over near Williamsburg. Again, this is your area of rotation. It's not strong, tight, and confined. If we go to the correlation coefficient, it's not showing debris being lifted up into the atmosphere, but there's still a little pocket of rotation there. We have another one also back down here. There's actually two areas. This one's actually kind of starting to strengthen a little bit. We'll have to watch this area here near Mount Orab. But that's another area to watch for. That is near 68, moving off to the northeast. So again, make sure to get to your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. A little bit of rotation there. We have another pocket of rotation back up here near 286. Latest radar scan. This is what we're looking at now. Let me zoom out and redraw these. This is one pocket of rotation here. It's a bit broader now. This is our other area back just to the south now of Fayetteville. Let's go back to the correlation coefficient. Again, neither of those areas have any debris being lofted up, which means there's not a tornado on the ground right now. That does not mean there could be one at some point in the near future, but we'll keep a close eye on this again, just to the northeast of Williamsburg, and as well as going towards areas in Fayetteville. Sniper, the main threat will be damaging winds. Thanks, Aiden. I appreciate it. I'm also sick. I've told you guys already this, but I'm so congested. It's not even funny. I'm surprised I'm still alive. But we're powering through it. I was congested yesterday and I was live and I was still sick, but I'm definitely more sick today. By the way, breaking news out of Fort Worth. A tornado was just confirmed to be an EF1 tornado in Picton. I have to post this to Facebook real quick. I don't know where Picton is. Isn't Picton back over near Weatherford? This was just confirmed. This is not right now happening. I mean, that's Hopkins County. But this is from the severe storms yesterday. Oh, that's actually back over near Sulphur Springs. So that was a different tornado. Yeah, that just happened there. All right. So yeah, again, that was just confirmed there. Picton, Texas, there was a confirmed EF1 tornado with sustained winds of 110 miles per hour from yesterday's storms. Most of the damage was confined to roofs and as well as trees. So that was just confirmed there out of the North Texas region. All right, back over to here. Let's go back over to the velocities again. This is the live velocities. Again, we have two pockets of rotation, both of them which are concerning here. We have one back near Fayetteville, another one just northeast of Mount Orab. This is the correlation coefficient. Again, I'm not seeing anything defined here that would indicate there's definitely a tornado on the ground right now. One could happen again at any time. So again, stay in shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible. And we'll keep you posted with the latest. If anything does change here, but there are two different pockets of rotation. This one's going to be a bit more concerning since there's a bit more of a clean inflow. This one up here is on kind of the backside of a storm, so it makes it a little bit more hard to rotate, but there's still concern for both of these cells with rotation. I would not be surprised if we do see a new tornado warning with this. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this is in southern Ohio right now. Appreciate you tuning in, TA. No problem at all. Indiana power is also flickering. The power outages are quite remarkable. We have a lot of power outages across the Ohio Valley and as well as the Southeast. We are currently at around, right now, I'm pretty sure we're at like 1 million people without power now in the United States from these storms. Michigan's at 11,000. Illinois is at 30,000. Indiana's at 60,000. West Virginia's at 11,000. Kentucky's at almost 400,000 now. Tennessee is up to almost 400,000 as well. North Carolina's at 18,000. Georgia's almost at 100,000. Alabama's at 125,000, and as well as Mississippi at 20,000. 4,000. Brand new tornado warning was just issued. This is a massive tornado warning for 2 different pockets of rotation. One, again, near Fayetteville. We have another one located here that is going to be heading towards Hillsborough in Ohio, and another one's going towards Lynchburg in Ohio. So again, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building if you're included in these warnings. This is a brand new tornado warning moving off to the northeast. Again, this will be going towards areas in Leesburg, New Vienna, Martinsville, Lynchburg, Hillsborough are the main locations included in this brand new tornado warning. This is the live radar, by the way, and you can see this is a bit of a supercell here. This is another little supercell here. Let me actually just remove these lines. This is a little supercell here. That's where our rotation's located. And then this is your other supercell here. This is where your location, or that's where your rotation's located as well. So again, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Brown, Clinton, and Highland counties are the ones included in this brand new tornado warning. Massive tornado warning, by the way. Leesburg is also included. How's it going, Ro? There are 2 different tornadoes here, all within about a 10-mile radius, by the way. I mean, these aren't far apart from each other. One is approaching 134. The other one's now approaching 50. So again, 2 pockets of rotation right now, moving quickly off to the north and east. All right, let's go over to the velocities here. We just got another radar update. This is the most recent radar scan. Rotation, again, located right down here. That is approaching 138 in the next couple of minutes. It's now over 134. Another pocket of rotation back near Fayetteville. Let's match that up with the reflectivity. Again, that is your one supercell here near Fayetteville, about to be approaching Lynchburg. And if you're in Lynchburg, Ohio, make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. And also the other pocket of rotation, kind of embedded in that little area here of rain. So it might even be rain wrapped. This is also moving right now off to the north and east. So again, make sure you get to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible. And my software is currently frozen. No, you can kind of still see it. Let's close this out. Restart real quick. We're right back to those tornado warnings right now. And that went really far. Right to the tornado warnings in the Lynchburg area, again in southern Ohio. That is where we're at right now. Latest radar scan just came in at a pretty good time. Let's check it out and see what's happening. Again, 2 areas of rotation with these storms. This is not one single storm that's producing a tornado threat. We have 2 different ones. One is located southwest of Hillsborough. This one will be going to beeline pretty much towards Hillsborough. The other one's over here. This will be impacting Lynchburg in the next few minutes, Martinsville, New Vienna, and Leesburg eventually. So there's 2 different pockets of rotation. Let's go back over to the velocities, give you an idea of what we're looking at here. So first is going to begin with Fayetteville. Rotation is located right there, moving off to the northeast. Another pocket of rotation there near 134. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. And not really seeing anything on the first storm. There's something on the second storm that might be because of the low reflectivity values. There's a couple of different pockets there, again, of rotation that we're watching. Next radar scan should come in here in just a second. And this does include Hillsborough, Lynchburg, and Leesville. So the 3 areas included right now in this tornado warning. Back to the live radar here. This is the live reflectivity, by the way. So the rotation's a bit further up from what I was just showing you. It's actually going to be a little bit closer to 138 now. There's another one near Lynchburg that's also approaching there. It's a little bit closer and off to the east. Just a little heads up there. I just got here. Is this worse than yesterday? I wouldn't say this is worse than yesterday, to be honest, but I thought yesterday was pretty bad because of what we saw in terms of damage back over in North Texas. But I mean, you can kind of make your own call for that. I think yesterday was worse in my opinion, but that's just me. I didn't really cover this event either. I mean, I've been live for like 2.5 hours, I think now. So I haven't been live for a huge amount of time today covering it. So I couldn't really tell you, but I think yesterday was a bit worse because of the high population density it went through. But today's pretty bad too. I mean, they all have their differences because today is a bit more of a damaging wind threat. I mean, yesterday was too. But when you look at the 2 differences, this low pressure system is much stronger. And it's much more intense, and it's bringing a winter storm along with a very long line of storms. So, and it's also producing some numerous to widespread damaging winds. So, yeah, they have their differences, but I mean, again, it's kind of an opinionated sort of thing. And we don't really have a whole lot of statistics on today quite yet in terms of what damage we've seen and all that. Update on the radar, by the way, as of 5:28 p.m. Rotation is now centered near 138. It's about to be going towards Hillsborough. The other rotation on the other cell has weakened in the last few minutes. Let's go and pull back to here. And yeah, the rotation back up here near Lynchburg. This storm actually took a left-hand turn. When we see these left-hand turns, that typically means the rotation is losing its control and it's pretty much gone out. So this storm is losing rotation right now, which is good news. But again, it could recycle, so stay tuned. Make sure to stay in shelter if you're in Martinsville, Louisiana, or in Lynchburg for the next few minutes. And then again, our other pocket of rotation is located down here going towards Hillsborough. So 2 areas of rotation still that we're watching closely in Ohio. Again, this is in southern Ohio for this tornado warning. Leesburg, Hillsborough, Lynchburg, and New Vienna will be in the track of this over the next several minutes. How's it going, J-Dog? I'm only live. I mean, I'm live, but like, I'm pretty sick. I did mention that I was probably not going to go live today, but still live because why not? After this, I'll tell you right now, after this, I am literally going to be resting because my voice is going out pretty quick. You might be able to hear it too. All right, latest radar update as of 5:29. Let's go back over to the reflectivity again. Actually, let's go up a little bit higher up in the atmosphere real quick. I'm curious to look at this. Yeah, the rotation, there's definitely some rotation more known with this storm here near Hillsborough. If you're in Hillsborough, Ohio, make sure you get into your safe place. The rotation's a bit stronger with this cell right now. That's near 138 and 131. The rotation is definitely a bit stronger in comparison to the other area back up to the north. So yeah, if you're in Hillsborough, this area is much stronger in comparison to the other one. Again, no tornado on the ground right now, but there could be one at any time. There might be even a funnel cloud or a wall cloud with this because there is a bit more rotation with that. But Hillsborough is going to be impacted by this in the next several minutes. So again, make sure you seek shelter there. New Vienna, Leesburg, Martinsville, and Lynchburg should all be in their safe places as well, just in case. But our main pocket of rotation right now is going to be with this cell. Here's your hook. Again, we have a very clean inflow into the storm. Tornado will be located right in here, kind of in this shaded area here. I'll kind of shade it, just to make it a little bit better. That's where that rotation will be located, though. Louisville is just going to be winds. That is associated with the back end of that low pressure system. That is not severe weather, but you are under a high wind warning, I'm pretty sure, for gusty winds up to 70 miles per hour, which would be damaging. So, yeah, there will still be that threat for the next few hours. Here's the latest radar scan, by the way. We should get another update on the velocities here in a minute, but the rotation and where the storm is located, right in here. That's where our rotation is located. It's now over 138. Hillsborough will be beelined for this ongoing rotation. The other pocket of rotation is moving to the north. That should be weakening as that happens. So that's good news there for right now. No problem, Emma. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I'm sick, so I'm trying to bear through it here. All right, let's go back over to Twitter real quick. We'll see if there's any other reports on this. No other reports on this storm for right now. Again, there's rotation located near 138 heading towards Hillsborough. But for right now, that's really the area that we're watching, is that area of rotation. It's located here again near Hillsborough. Winds are pretty high too. We actually have another one developing here. Look at this. Another area of rotation is developing here. Let's go over to the reflectivity. And that's going to be associated with the other storm that just developed. The radar's updating too quick. The reflectivity is updating too quick, and the velocities are delayed, so it's kind of making this hard to really track here. The rotation was much stronger a second ago with that little hook that we saw a moment ago. Let me let's go back a second. Just go back to the last scan. This is the last scan, and you can see here that's when that rotation was stronger. Small hook developed here. Then we actually had some strong rotation briefly. There may have been a brief tornado there south of 50 west of Hillsborough. Possible. Obviously not confirmed. We can go to the correlation coefficient to match up with that. Not seeing debris, but again, sometimes these tornadoes are really small. They don't always show that sort of feature, so it can also be a possibility. But there may have been a brief tornado there south of 50. And even yesterday, there was a couple of possible tornadoes in the Fort Worth area, particularly in Denton County and Collin County. There was no correlation coefficient drop, but there were a couple of brief tornadoes, so you can kind of get the general picture. Again, we don't always need a CC drop for a tornado to actually happen. All right, next radar scan should come in here in just a moment. We'll wait for that over the next few minutes. By the way, some tree damage in Kentucky. This is in Kentucky. Tree down. And yeah, again, we've had a lot of trees down. This is one of the bigger reports. This is a pretty big tree, by the way. Pretty sizable tree. Kentucky wind damage, by the way. That's what that's from. Snow in Indiana. If you're in northern Indiana, you have a chance for some snow. Your presentation is off the charts. Spectacular. I appreciate that. It would be like 2 times better if I wasn't so congested and sick. I would be talking a lot more, obviously, and I would be going more in depth, but I only can do so much with having such a congested system. Along with that, I have a pretty bad sore throat, so it'd be a much better live stream. And I would have been live much longer yesterday too, but obviously, again, being sick is not easy to be live in. I've already been live for almost 3 hours, and I don't know how. Again, if you're in Hillsboro, Ohio, Leesburg, New Vienna, get to your safe place immediately. Anywhere in this area, and the pink polygon, that is a tornado warning. That is again ongoing here for the next, for right now, 26 minutes. It probably will not last that long, but that's what we're looking at right now. Rotation is really strengthening with this little cell here, by the way. We could see a tornado at any time. Back up here, that is actually going to be to the northwest of Hillsboro, east of Lynchburg. And this is all associated with a small hook. Very small storm here. The wind shear is off the charts, so we very well could see a tornado with this here near Lynchburg. But there is a possibility for a tornado there. We have rotation back down here south of Hillsboro as well. So again, if you're west of Hillsboro here, that is where our rotation is located. Tornado possible at any time. The velocity is really strengthened in the last scan here on this storm. That is a really rapidly intensifying storm there. Again, just east of Lynchburg, Ohio is where we're at. I just did RDP like 30 minutes before I went live. I took Mucinex. That was the one thing I did. And I was gonna go live earlier, but I had to leave for a Walmart pickup order. And I also had to go get Mucinex at a different store. So that took a little while. That's why I wasn't live earlier. I would have been live for, you know, pretty much all day if I was able to do that earlier, but yes, I'm using Mucinex. Do you like Cadbury mini eggs or cream eggs? I think they're both pretty good. Oh yeah, Easter's coming right around the corner. Is the severe weather going to pick up more later? Not, I mean, I wouldn't say it's going to pick up. It depends on where you are. But I don't think the severe weather is going to intensify too much beyond where it is right now. But we could still see the potential for, you know, some severe weather for the next 3 to 4 hours throughout areas in the Carolinas, Virginia, you know, back through West Virginia, and even into areas in Ohio where we're seeing right now severe weather. So tornado warning no longer includes areas back near Fayetteville, by the way. So just a little heads up there. Funny enough, my warning count has been at 12 all day. It is actually, I've not fixed that. Let me back down to 6. There we go. Total warning count across the United States right now at 6. That includes severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Hey, if you want to send me some Easter stuff, excuse me, if you want to send me some Easter stuff, I do actually have a P.O. box now. There is a P.O. box in the description, I believe. If you ever want to send me any Easter stuff, I love Easter candy. All right, back over to, we have another report out of Kentucky. There are some closed off roadways. Power lines are down. This is another photo out of Kentucky. We've had some pretty significant damage out of there. Massive trees have fallen down here in Kentucky. Pretty notable stuff there. That's a large tree. We've had some large trees down in parts of Kentucky from the damaging winds. All right, let's go back over to the reflectivity. Latest radar scan is going to be coming in here in just a moment, so stay tuned. We'll have another update. Again, a possible tornado at any time will be existing here near 73, Leesburg, and Hillsboro. So again, make sure that you are in your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Tornado warning is still ongoing for another 23 minutes. Yeah, the Storm Prediction Center, yeah, there's going to be heavy snow in northern Indiana. There won't be a whole lot of accumulation. Might be 4 to 8 inches in some areas, maybe up to 10 inches. But it's primarily going to be in Michigan. All right, latest radar scan just came in. Let's go right over to the velocities. and there may be a tornado on the ground right now south of New Vienna. Let's go ahead and pull on the reflectivity again. That's where that's located. Possible tornado on the ground. No, there's now a confirmed tornado on the ground. All right, we have a tornado. Or wait, no, we did not. All right, never mind. But there's a possible tornado on the ground right now south of New Vienna. So again, if you're in this area, there's a possible tornado on the ground. This is your supercell here. There is a possible tornado here. Make sure you're in shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is what the velocities look like a little bit further to the south. That's where it is right now. This is your correlation coefficient. It does show debris. However, it might not be entirely accurate. I cannot 100% guarantee that yet there's a tornado, but there might be one here right now. So if you're here, make sure you seek shelter. Those velocities are very tight. Let me look at radar scope here and see what we're looking at. That is a very, very well-defined area of rotation, though. All right, latest radar scan just came in. We can take a look at this as well. This just came in. This is the rotation. It's slightly broader, so there may have been a brief tornado there. And here's the correlation coefficient. It still shows debris, but again, I'm not 100% buying that. I think the correlation coefficient's not entirely accurate here. But the rotation is still there. That is our main pocket of rotation. Let's zoom out slightly. So again, main area of rotation is here. That is moving towards Leesburg, Ohio. Another area of more of a damaging wind threat right now is about to be entering Hillsborough, but still stay in shelter if you're in Hillsborough, Ohio. Possible tornado that was just on the ground there near 73. Looked like there was very strong rotation there for a brief amount of time. Possibility that there was a tornado on the ground. Not confirmed though. And the correlation coefficient was showing a lot of stuff there in terms of blue colors, which usually indicates debris. But in that case, again, it's kind of hard to determine that at that point. Yeah, this is radar indicated rotation on both areas of rotation. We had another one near Hillsborough. That is definitely weakened though over the last several minutes. 70-mile-per-hour winds were just reported in Bushtown. Large trees are down and electrical lines are also down. Roof partially blown off as well in Clarksville, Indiana. Estimated 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So a roof was partially blown off a building. Non-severe weather wind gusts, by the way. Again, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button down below to help get this out to more people. Also, if you're new here, we do severe weather coverage all the time, so make sure to subscribe if you've not already. Free to do, click the red button down below. Again, we are covering a tornado warning right now in southern Ohio. So again, if you're in this area, this is again near Leesburg. I'll zoom out a little bit to include this entire tornado warning. Our main area of rotation is located south of New Vienna. Leesburg will be in the track here shortly. Hillsborough is being impacted by the storm as we speak. You can actually see the cell back down in Hillsborough has become much more of a hailstorm, it looks like. Potentially quarter-sized hail, not out of the question near Hillsborough. See some of these pink colors popping up? That usually does indicate some larger hail. So that in the back of your head there if you're down near Hillsborough in southern Ohio right now. This is the latest radar scan. The velocities have become actually much weaker in the latest radar scan. Going towards Leesburg doesn't mean you should get out of your safe place, but Leesburg right now, slightly weaker rotation. We'll watch that area closely. Back in Hillsborough, rotation is not tight and confined. There's definitely no tornado on the ground here right now, but we are still watching a broad area of rotation there. Another very broad area of rotation that just kind of, really weakened back near Highway 62. So, and stay in your safe place. This warning does go for another 19 minutes. If you don't know what your safe place is, it is an interior room of your home or building away from windows. And I know a lot of people ask me, I have rooms that all have windows. Well, if you have all windows in every room, the best bet will be a bathroom or a closet. Again, a tub is preferable if you're going to a bathroom, especially for a safe place. The lowest floor possible, just keep as many walls, basically as many walls in between you from the outside. That's what you want to make sure that you're doing there if you're in this tornado warning right now. Latest radar scan, still some rotations, kind of broadened out back near 62. More of a wind threat right now for Hillsborough. The rotation did weaken out pretty quickly, though. We did have a possible tornado on the ground near 73, but it does seem like that has kind of fizzled out at this point. That rotation died down really fast. Specifically, southeast of New Vienna. See if we have any other Twitter reports coming in here. Yeah, no other reports for right now in the storm. In terms of like rotation, anybody seeing anything? I haven't seen any reports on Twitter. If you have any reports and you can safely report, let me know in the chat. But for right now, I have not seen any reports recently on this storm. We'll keep you posted. Yeah, by the way, if you're in a mobile home or something like that, always a good thing to do is have a plan in place the day before. Have a plan to go somewhere else, because mobile homes are not safe in damaging winds or really anything in terms of severe weather. So you always want to make sure you have a backup plan. No severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way, in Atlanta right now. We're going to stay on the tornado warning for right now. Only one warning in Georgia. That's in northeast Georgia right now. So we're really down to just this tornado warning. That's the main area that we're watching right now. Still a little bit of rotation. One north of Hillsborough. We got really more of a wind gradient here. We have more of a damaging wind component here moving through Hillsborough. And then we had rotation up here, but this is definitely weakened out. That's good news there. Thank you, Vera, as well as God, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Storm passed over me 30 minutes ago. Yeah, this storm's pretty wild. This storm is really wild. Back west of Leesburg, still some rotation there. We have rotation located here. We have rotation located here. We actually have 3 pockets of rotation. The one west of Leesburg is not really that strong right now. All these are pretty, weak right now, but they could really strengthen at any time. So again, just keep that in mind. We have 3 different pockets of rotation. From Leesburg back through Hillsborough. So in Williamsburg, we're getting a report. This person didn't see a tornado. This was in the area, by the way. The tornado just had, there might have been a tornado. There's stuff everywhere. This may have just been from straight line damaging winds. Again, hard to tell. We don't, obviously nothing's been surveyed here. We have had no reports yet of an actual tornado. But this person did say that they live 3 miles northeast of Williamsburg. Didn't see any tornado, but neighbor's shed was picked up and blown towards the east. And also beehives were picked up and blown west. So that could have actually been a tornado. All right, here's the latest radar update, by the way. So again, a couple of areas to note with this tornado warning. One back near Hillsborough. We have another one back over here near 138. Still broad rotation, nothing tight yet, but we'll keep a close eye on that. So over in Williamstown as well, we have a photo of a possible rope tornado. But it's hard to tell. It looks like a lot more scud clouds. I'm not going to show you because it's more scud clouds, I think. But there may have been a brief tornado in that area. It's hard to tell. We've had a couple of varying reports here of some wind damage as well. Also in Boonville, Mississippi, 2-inch flood water in front of a physician's urgent care. It's a new report there. Not a lot of reports. How many bees were killed? I have zero clue. That report just came out like 2 minutes ago. All right, we have a new tornado warning that was just issued for those in Greenfield. This will go through Bainbridge, Frankfort, and going towards Highway 35. Brand new tornado warning. We have several different pockets of rotation, all of them kind of being embedded in this line. Make sure you seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building. Again, new tornado warning was issued for Greenville, Frankfort, Bainbridge, and all the locations on the left side of your screen. This does include Fayette County, Highland County, and Ross County. Just for heads up there. Those are the new counties included in another tornado warning here. Update the warning count here. Tornado watch was extended into upstate South Carolina. That was a few hours ago, I think. That happened earlier. Just a further reminder, by the way, I am sick. I am starting to lose my voice pretty quickly, so I'm going to be talking a little bit less, just for the heads up. I will be still talking about, obviously, the severe weather. We're going to still keep a close eye on it, but you might hear it. My voice is going pretty quick, so I'm going to lower my tone just a little bit and try to still be live here. But we have tornado warnings ongoing, so as long as there's tornado warnings, we'll be live. And again, we're watching different areas in this line of storms with rotation. One over here, we got another one like in here. This is very weak. We have another little area here, and then kind of in here, we have some little areas, more damaging winds right now, but this could rotate. So that's what we're watching right now in this little area of storms. It's a little cluster. Again, this is from that embedded, or that's not from the embedded. This is from the inner area of the low pressure system with the, the inner band of storms that we've been seeing. So damaging winds is definitely more concerning here. Warm tea. I wish that was a thing at college, but it's not. I don't think we have tea at all at this college, I'm not gonna lie. All right, quick update on power outages, by the way. Kentucky's up to 400,000 almost. Tennessee's almost up to 400,000. Alabama at 100,000. Ohio is at about 22,000, and Indiana is at 67,000. So power outage update there. All right, here's the latest radar scan here. Let's go back over to the velocities again. Again, we are watching primarily, there's an area of rotation back east of Leesburg. We're watching that closely. We have another one near 138 as well. So a couple of pockets of rotation there. Again, make sure you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building. They are not strong areas of rotation, but these could strengthen at any time as they move off to the east-northeast towards Greenfield, and as well as Frankfort and Bainbridge. All the locations in this warning are on the left side of your screen. There may have been a tornado already with this storm, but again, no confirmation on that quite yet. In Lexington, Kentucky, 5-inch tree limbs are down on power lines, and a road is closed because of it. So, yeah, there's been some high winds in Lexington, up to 70 miles per hour behind the line of storms. So there's been some pretty crazy stuff there as well. Thank you, Garrett, by the way, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Washington Court in Ohio. Washington Court will be missed by the tornado warnings. You'll be fine. You are about to get hit by some gusty winds, but it would not be severe. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, we are still watching two areas in particular for a tornado threat. This area will be a threat maybe sometime soon. It is not really rotating a whole lot right now. The other area is back down here that is possibly rotating a little bit more. We may have a little lowering near 138. This will be moving off towards Greenfield. This one's also moving off towards Greenfield. And those are our two main pockets of rotation right now. Near Greenfield, Ohio. Frankfort will also be in the track of this. I'll zoom out a little bit. So this is our area now. Pen glitched out. Let's do that again. That's your one area of rotation. Another area of rotation down here. Those are our two areas, both moving off to the east-northeast. And this storm is currently moving at about 45 to 50 miles per hour off to the east-northeast. Make sure you stay in shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Yeah, if the line of storms has passed you, you are done with severe weather. That is for those, the exception is, that is for those that are south of Kentucky. Most of Kentucky is also cleared at this point, but there is that inner band of storms. This is what this is. This is the inner band. And there is a chance that, again, this could potentially produce a threat of severe weather, which it is right now. A little quick photo as well out of... where this is. This is out of more damage photos. I don't know where this is, but there was a tree on top of a home. Damaged some of the home. This is why I always say, with damaging winds, get away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Things like this happen. You can see how it just completely collapsed onto the roof there. A pretty significant sight there to see. Two pockets of rotation right now heading off to the east-northeast. If you're enjoying the stream so far, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Like the video as well. And if you want to support the page above and beyond, I've been live for 3 hours while sick. But if you want to support the page above and beyond, you can become a member for as little as $2.99 a month. Top link in the description below. But other than that, we're going to go back to the tornado warning. And I'm going to see what we have on Twitter here as well. That was in Hopkinsville, by the way, for those that are wondering. That tree photo was in Hopkinsville, Alabama, I believe. Fence damage was a big thing, by the way. Fence damage has been going crazy in these storms, which fences don't hold up very well with damaging winds like this, especially older ones. There's a lot of older fences in Alabama. Thanks, Locke. Appreciate it. I don't know if anybody else is live streaming this event. I know there's a lot of storm chasers out there. I don't know if Reed is still streaming either, but I am streaming while sick. We're bearing through it right now. Super congested. It's been one of those. The last 24 hours has been wild. No, Reed is not live anymore. I think Vince is, right? Vince, he might be. Yeah, Vince is still live. So yeah, those are the only people I know that are live though. It's active until 8. It is active until 8. I will not be live, I don't think, until 8 o'clock, unless tornado warnings continue. My voice, again, is going out really quickly, so I'll try to be live as long as possible, but I am losing my voice quite quickly with this. But again, 2 pockets of rotation is what is circled right now. If you're in Greenfield, Frankfurt, Bainbridge, any of these areas, make sure that you are getting to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. For a lot of people streaming, but then they stopped. I have no clue who streams anymore on YouTube. I really don't. I don't pay attention to the weather space on YouTube much. I have actually, for those that are wondering, I do nationwide weather on YouTube. I have a localized page on Facebook called North Texas Weather Center. I'm not gonna lie, I actually invest about 80 to 90% of my time now into the Facebook page. I have I'm pretty sure we're almost up to 70,000 followers on there now, but I put a lot more time into that right now during this time of the year. Severe weather season, that's usually where I put a lot of my time into. This I still put a lot of time into as well, especially with severe weather. But yeah, I post a lot on Facebook. Thank you, Hop, for becoming a subscriber. This is currently in southern parts of Ohio. I'll zoom out a little bit for those that are wondering where we actually are. I haven't zoomed out in a while. That's where we're at. Southern Ohio, south of Columbus, south of Interstate 70. Tornado watch is still ongoing until 7 o'clock in this area. We also have another tornado watch for until 8 o'clock in South Carolina, North Carolina, and as well as Georgia. Back to the storm here. Wind shear is insane. Again, I already told you, the wind shear is wild with these storms. Rotation located again southwest of Greenfield. We have another little pocket up here at the northern side of the storm. This would probably be the more concerning areas down here. This is the latest radar scan. So yeah, a bit more concerning south of Greenfield. But northwest of Greenfield too, there is a little bit of rotation up there. So 2 pockets of rotation that we're watching pretty closely. Tornado warning has been canceled, by the way. The one back out here west, for those like near Leesburg and New Vienna, that one just got canceled. Just an FYI. The only tornado warning now that we have is this one here for Frankfurt, Bainbridge, and Greenfield. This is radar indicated rotation. It is not a confirmed tornado at this point. No problem, Willow. Thanks for the report, James. Stay safe. All right. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'll be answering a few questions if you have any general questions here. And we will be live here for a little while covering these tornado warnings. This is currently in southern Ohio, near Greenfield, Bainbridge, and Frankfurt. This has potentially already produced a tornado at one point, unconfirmed to this point. Broad rotation right now, moving through areas near Greenfield. We have really, this is the main area now, is back near 753. So if you're in that area, make sure that, again, you're getting to your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible. Greenfield is really the area that you need to get there right now. This is, the storm's basically over top of you. And then eventually Frankfurt and Bainbridge will be impacted within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're in Frankfurt, you got about 5 minutes until this storm approaches. So if you need to do anything really quick that is important and critical, you can do that now. And Bainbridge as well, you got maybe 1 to 2 minutes, but you should really get to your safe place as soon as possible. The storm again is quickly approaching areas in Frankfurt and Bainbridge. Again, main area of rotation right now located south of Greenfield. Weather's keeping me busy. It really is. I'd be live a lot longer, honestly. I mean, like, honestly, I would have been live this morning, but again, I'm super congested. My throat is going away right now, so we'll see how long that lasts. Have a great night, Virginia. Appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to study. I have a test next week, but I don't have to worry about it right now. I'll be studying this weekend, though. For sure. It's a little exam coming up. Other than that, I actually, spring break is only a week from today. spring break starts a week from today. So we'll have that second week of March. I'll be able to go live most of the time and have a little break from everything. 999. It's 991 or it's 911. What's your emergency? But okay. Too bad it's gonna be cold. That is true. Colder air is coming again. I will have a forecast tomorrow. As long as I still have my voice, I will have a forecast tomorrow. Winter is returning one more time, at least, to the United States. I'll have a forecast on that tomorrow. It'll be a pretty interesting video. We'll be talking a lot about what is coming up next week. Winter will return, so interesting to see. Thank you, Ohio Dung Beetle, for becoming a Storm Chaser member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Appreciate you becoming a member. Enjoy your perks and benefits. All right, let's zoom in a little bit here. Again, the rotation is broadened out on most of this. We have one area of rotation back north of Greenfield. We have another one south of Greenfield. The two pockets. So again, make sure you stay in shelter away from windows, lows where possible. I'll be back in 1 second. All right. Should be good here for a little bit longer. Sorry, I'm so congested. All right. Thanks, Ohio. Appreciate it. Stay safe if you're in the track of these storms. Guys, I know you guys are all trying to give me suggestions on tea and stuff. Again, I am at college. There's no such thing as tea. There's only a such thing as burgers, fries, and getting fatter for me. It's pretty much what it's been for me. So unfortunately, I wish I could. I have been doing the salt water gurgling thing or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much the furthest along I can get. That's a good description of what's been happening here at college. But yeah, it should be fine. It's just more of anything. Just how much I'm talking is kind of the bigger issue because I've been live for 3 hours talking a ton, so it makes it much harder when I'm sick. So, tornado warning is continuing, by the way, for Greenfield, Frankfurt, Bainbridge, Bourneville, Fruitdale, Good Hope, and New Petersburg. That does continue until 6:15, so another 15 minutes. Rotation has broadened quite a bit at this point, so we'll see if anything does redevelop in the next few minutes, but this is becoming more of a damaging wind threat for right now. Again, south of the Washington Courthouse. Then no severe storms down in the southeast right now. Here's a live view of that. Just strong storms producing damage, or excuse me, gusty winds around 45 to 55 miles per hour. And by the way, snow, heavy snow is ongoing. Up to almost 4 inches of snow has fallen in Valparaiso, and that's actually an area that I know because we did a honeybee commercial ad for that area. They're seeing some snow up there a couple months ago. Or actually, I think it was last month. Another area that we're looking at there. Heavy snow. It's a big mix of stuff today. Big bag of tricks. No hot dogs? No, I've had hot dogs, trust me. That's just a bunch of fried stuff. Get some water. I've gone through like 3 of these water bottles in this live stream. Elva, most likely. Or Oliva. I don't know how to say your name. And most likely, I'll just call you Rain. Yeah, most likely will be last cold snap. Not guaranteed though. Again, when winter's not over yet. Winter's not over yet. By the way, for those that watch these videos quite regularly, you guys like the last 2 video titles? Maybe I made like the most random video titles ever. Oh no, and this is not good. No description whatsoever. I do not use onions for my hot dogs now. Again, we're currently in southern Ohio if you're just tuning in. Rotation located near Greenville. It is broad. Not really anything up here anymore for rotation, so that's good news. Only area of rotation that is existent is primarily now to the southeast of Greenfield, near South Salem. We're looking at there. Tornado watch does not even include this area, but obviously we still can sometimes see tornadoes outside of a tornado watch. But this is now exiting the tornado watched area for now. This is near Greenfield. That is where tornado warning does continue for the next 13 minutes. I did like the titles. Tomorrow's title is going to be, I think, Winter's Not Over Yet. I'm pretty sure that's going to be tomorrow's title. Which at least is something descriptive. At least it's saying something instead of just saying, this is not good. I could say, you know what else I could say that wouldn't include the word winter, but thanks, Unstable. I appreciate it. If you've been enjoying the stream, by the way, make sure to hit the like button down below. Helps get this out to more people. Again, make sure to subscribe if you're new here, the red button down below. And if you want to support the page above and beyond, again, you can donate by super chatting. There's a donation link in the description below, as well as pinned in the chat. And you can also become a member here on YouTube for as little as $2.99 a month. Get a tornado icon next to your name in the chat room and all sorts of stuff. Make sure to check that out by clicking the top link in the description below. Otherwise, we are still watching the tornado warning here in southern Ohio, near Greenfield. This is south of the Washington Courthouse, south of the Columbus area as well. This is kind of a widespread view here. So east of Cincinnati, west of Parkersville, kind of in between the two here. And that's where we're at right now. Rotation, though, is definitely kind of fizzling out here. It's not as strong as before, which is good news. We'll see if anything happens, though. Again, we've seen this happen a few times with this storm. It looks really strong, and it kind of weakens, and it strengthens again and weakens again. So we might be in that sort of pattern where it's really kind of at a weak stage, but it might strengthen again. So we'll have to watch for that threat here over the next few minutes. Thank you, Austin and Redneck, for subscribing. Appreciate it. Thank you for the report, Rachel. So, out of Loganville, Georgia, getting more windy and raining. Oops, not mean to do that. Again, rotation located near 28 right now. Still watching the storm. Moving off to the east. Frankfurt, if you're in Frankfurt, make sure you get to your safe place right now. Away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building, where you have got to be at right now. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll probably on Easter, or not Easter break, on March break, I'll probably be live a decent amount if there's any severe weather. So, expect some live streams. So for right now, this rotation is weakening quite quickly. We'll see on the next radar scan if anything happens. If it weakens even further than what it is now, then I will end the stream. If it is strengthening again, I will stay live. But again, my voice is pretty much gone, so I can't be live much longer. I've really got to rest my voice. I am losing my voice so fast, it's not even funny. I've never had my voice this bad before. I'm pretty bad. We'll see what happens. But otherwise, the severe weather threat really will only exist for the next 2 to 3 hours. Tornado threat will remain low. Embedded tornadoes in a line as possible. And not just that, damaging winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour may still occur with some of these storms. It's going to be more of an isolated threat, though, for the rest of this evening. But we'll see what this next radar scan brings us in a moment. But yeah, if you've been enjoying the stream, make sure to hit the like button. And again, make sure to subscribe. I do live streams like this all the time. They're usually longer than this, and they're much more detailed. It's just I can't really talk right now. So I've done my best. Again, I'm surprised I've gone 3 hours, to be honest with you. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know how I've gone 3 hours. Pretty hard to do that. Such a sore throat. This is the second time I've been sick, by the way, in the last, last 30 days, I think. This is the second time I've had the same cold. Go to bed. Yeah, go to bed. Last time I was sick was back in December. Yeah, I think I was sick back in January. It wasn't even that long ago. Wasn't very long ago. Thank you, Con. I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing. I don't need a co-host. Trust me, I do not need a co-host. The only reason why I would need a co-host today, though, is because I'm sick. But otherwise, I never need a co-host on a normal day. Trust me, if you ever watch one of my previous live streams, there's no reason for one. I talk so much. Pretty detailed, too. Yeah, yesterday's live stream, I mean, we were live for 5 hours yesterday. I did take that 30-minute break in between. But yeah, I was live for a good 5 hours yesterday. But again, we did take a little break in between. I was not as sick yesterday, though, as today. So, thanks, Megan. Appreciate it. Yeah, Tornado Watch does go until 7 o'clock. It's a very small area. But this is basically ending in about 53 minutes. The only area would be here, this small area that hasn't seen storms yet. Then a bit further to the south, there's a Tornado Watch down here in Greenville actually is under a severe thunderstorm warning. This tornado watch goes until 8 o'clock, and this is primarily for damaging winds, but there might be an embedded tornado or two. And then the severe weather threat really just winds down. It becomes more of a winter storm, and it already has become more of a winter storm now. You can see here, this is your snow. It has really ramped up over the last hour. Heavy snow right now falling in northern Indiana. We've had snowfall reports upwards of 3 inches already, 4 inches in some spots. Detroit has been seeing some heavy snow. We got a few reports of that. A little bit of ice accumulation also across Pennsylvania, far northwestern Ohio, and into southeast Michigan as well. So pretty crazy. That's been what's happening here across the entire region here. All right, real quickly, we'll look at it one more time and see if there's anything here. If not, I'm going to probably end the live stream. Let's see. Again, on a normal day, I'd be live much longer, but I am losing my voice quickly. Let's look at the velocities here. Yeah, the rotation's pretty weak now. This storm's gonna be more damaging winds at this point, so that'll be it for this stream. You can hear my voice. It sounds awful. It's actually, this is the worst. I've never had it sound this bad. But yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm pretty close to losing my voice, so I'm gonna end the live stream there. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We've had over 800 viewers for a long time now. I appreciate you guys all tuning in tonight. Before you leave, if you've enjoyed the stream, make sure to hit the like button down below. We're only 13 likes from 700. Let's at least hit 700 tonight. Also, make sure to subscribe down below. It's that red button. If you enjoyed the stream and you want to support the page above and beyond, again, I've been live for 3 hours. If you want to support my page, you can become a member or you can donate down below in the description. Helps the page out a lot. Again, I do this full time now, so along with college. So if you want to go ahead and support my page, click the link in the description below. Otherwise, I'll be resting up, and yeah, I'll have a video out hopefully tomorrow if my voice is not gone. But if it is gone, I will not have a video tomorrow. I'll post something on YouTube about that. If I don't have a voice, it'll be on the community tab, and you'll see a post about it. And I'll also post on Twitter if I don't have a video tomorrow. All right, appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night. Thank you again from Hayden for the $5 super chat from earlier, as well as Ohio for becoming a Storm Chaser member. Appreciate it. Have a great, safe rest of your night. We'll see you guys all again soon. I'm trying to find the, or there we go. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you guys soon. And just a heads up, severe thunderstorm warning, so the tornado warning will no longer continue. Just a little side note. All right, have a great night, guys. See you guys all again soon.